Good morning. I'd like to call the Adams County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Mr. Bradford, could you open some prayer for us?
All wise, eternal God, we want to thank you this morning, God, for allowing us to see another day, oh God. Father, we want to thank you for our health and our strength and being in our right mind in the right place this morning, God. Father, I just ask, oh God, to continue to look over our elected officials, oh God. Continue to bless them, strengthen them. Give them wisdom from on high, oh God, to lead and direct your people, oh God, in your eyesight. Father, we pray for this county, we pray for this city, we pray for this state, and we pray for this country, oh God. And Father, we just ask, oh God, just let peace continue to arise, oh God. With everything that's going on, oh God, all uprising, Father, we just ask, oh God, that you keep us safe from any hurt, harm, or danger, oh God. Father, continue to protect our first responders, protect our teachers, our doctors, and everyone, oh God, that we come in contact with, oh God. And Father, we continue to pray for our county finances, continue to open doors, oh God. Let new businesses come into this area, oh God, that your people may see the need, oh God, and be blessed, oh God. Father, we just ask all these in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
You would let's say the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call a roll at this time. Supervisor Gray. Present. Supervisor Hutchins.
Here.
Supervisor Wilson.
Present.
Supervisor Gaines.
Here.
County Attorney Scott Slover.
Here.
Chancery Clerk Brandy Lewis.
Present.
Deputy Clerk Paige Dean.
Present.
And County Administrator Angie Kenny.
Here.
I am present. We do have a sheriff deputy present as well. Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes for June 2022.
So moved.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we need to approve the dockets, but before that, I need approval for the insurance renewal on the St. Catherine Utility Authority. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion?
What is it? How much is it?
The total is $8,354. It is,
That's for the rest of the year?
yeah, down payment of $1,910 and 9 additional payments of $770.96. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. This time we need a motion to approve the dockets.
So moved.
A motion by Supervisor Hutchins. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. We need to, motion to approve the Sheriff's Office financial reports, monthly financial reports.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
How are you?
Ayes have it. Next, we need a motion to approve the monthly financial reports for Chancery Clerk's Office.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines,
Second.
second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Next on the agenda, we have Miss Catherine McFay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me this morning. I'm Catherine McFay. I'm the Executive Director with Natchez Children's Services. The Children's Advocacy Center here located in Natchez. We service 5 counties, Adams, Claiborne, Jefferson, Franklin, and Wilkinson counties. And we provide services free of charge to victims of crime, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and neglect. And I'm here coming to ask for Adams County annual support to help with the services because they are, like I said, free of charge. And this year specifically, our organization and the Children's Advocacy Centers across the state of Mississippi suffered a significant budget reduction in one of our main grants that we utilize. And from July 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021, 340 children and their family members were seen on child abuse allegations. 163 of those were Adams County cases alone. And then so far this fiscal year, from October 1, 2021 to April 30th, 2022, we've seen 226 children and their family members, and 120 of those are Adams County cases. So Adams clearly is our largest county that we serve. And the National Children's Alliance estimates savings of nearly $1,000 per child that's interviewed at a CAC. It's definitely more expensive at having to go with like law enforcement investigations without a children's advocacy center. So that definitely does help save the county money. And based on the projected number of children that we'll see from Adams County this year, we're expected to save Adams County around $165,000 based on that estimate. So we would just really appreciate Adams County's support and everything so we can continue to provide these much needed services to children and their families.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
Angie, don't we already have that appropriated in the budget? That's already appropriated.
Okay, okay.
So you should be receiving your appropriations.
Okay, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Just wanted to come back and let y'all know all the good that we're doing.
About 5,000.
Where is your, physical office?
We're on 33 Fatherland Road. We're located behind Westminster Presbyterian Church.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
We want to thank y'all for the services that y'all provide, and that will be in this year's budget. So we
Okay.
appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is Natchez Recreation. Glad that everybody's here for that. So we move forward.
We needed to do some housekeeping items. We had to enter a covenant to get that grant, to finalize that grant. Basically means that the pool area is going to be used as a pool area and not anything else. So I need a motion to adopt that covenant. The city's already done there.
You heard the request, County Attorney. So moved. A motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Where is the paperwork?
Email to you.
And you said this to do what?
It's a covenant over the land that says we promise that we'll use the land, the pool area land, as a pool. And that's what you have to do to ask for that grant. It's required.
Thank you.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
For the pool.
Next on the agenda is Miss Mary Kay Doherty.
Good morning. I have a few things today. We have received our budget letters for our administrative office supports, AOC branch, which is our youth drug court and our family drug court. Our youth drug court was reduced by, let me see here, about $23,000. So I'm redoing budgets, but I'll have those to Angie as soon as possible, and I'll give you these letters. And then, next I have a budget modification that I've turned in already for you to sign for Department of Public Safety and Planning. There's one place to sign, and then the last 2 pages just need to be initialed. And I need to send those originals off once those are signed.
Just, would you explain this to board under the?
It's a budget modification, so what happened is, this grant usually runs from July to June, and we're currently have some funds left over, and they're letting us use those. We just put an extension in until the end of September, so we can use those funds, because that grant was also cut. So they're allowing us to use that, which will help in keeping our program going for the next year.
Can I get a motion to approve this from the board, please? Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. Next I have a letter from Judge Brown that he signed that we are asking if the board would consider doing graduated tiers for our detention guards. We used to have that in place, so after they work for 6 months, they get a little raise, and then the supervisors would get one as well. I have a breakdown of what all the other detention guards make around the states, and our sheriff's jailers, what they start out as, and what ours are making right now, and what we would like to implement. Do I need to say what those are, I guess, what this letter says? Right now, our current detention guards are making $12 an hour. Our senior guards are making $12.13 an hour. Our supervisors for the shifts are making, where is it? I'm sorry. They make a little bit more, but what we're asking, so most of the guards around the state start at $13 and go up. The jailers for the sheriff's department start at $13.60 an hour. We're asking just to implement a $12 is what they start out, 6 months later, $12.75. 1 year after continued employment and they're received their training that they're required to have, move them up to $13.50. And then for the supervisors, $14. But I have this letter if anybody wants to see that.
So moved.
Motion
I
by Supervisor.
thought that need to be coming through the budget.
It-
This is new, man.
Go ahead.
So in the budget, what we're asking not to change our allowed budget for jailers right now, for our detention guards, I'm sorry. We're not asking an increase to the budget, we're just asking to increase this, and we believe we can stay at our budget that's already approved from last year, not changing that at all.
And that's in 6 months too.
Thank you, Madam.
Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second.
I'll say
Supervisor Gaines, any discussion?
discussion.
So this is not gonna affect their budget. And this don't need to come during budget time. It could be done right
She
now.
said, y'all make the decision as to whether you're asking for it for the next year's.
Correct, starting in
She's asking
October.
For the next year's budget.
Starting in October, and
She just
so
asked.
we just
for
wanna
the budget.
put that out there and ask.
Not to
request it,
change
But
the
not
budget.
changing our amounts at all,
Right.
of what we're already allotted.
So, on the question I was asking, why we do this now when we working on the budget right now and it could have been submitted and we could have did it then? That's all I'm asking.
That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying.
The budgets were just submitted on Friday, so this was our first meeting that came to ask this to
So
be
we're not
considered.
gonna have budget hearings?
I think if we need to wait till then, I mean, that's fine.
I'm just asking, so we could have every department head come in here and do the same thing. We
Just
be up
submit
here,
it on
all day long. I thought, this should have been something doing, budget hearing, but if y'all wanna deal with it now, I don't have a problem with it, but I
Yeah,
thought.
it doesn't have to be held right now. At any rate, when we adopt the formal budget, if it didn't get in there, it didn't get in there
Right, so
based
that's why
on
she's
what our
asking.
funding sources are at any rate, so, but it, so you're right, I mean, it's just something that we can wait till we do our budget hearing too. Even if we decided right now this motion, it still wouldn't take any effect, or it could be overridden by, when we do the final budget, just depending on all sorts of factors.
Got a motion on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. Next, I have one more person to go for the MADCP, which is the Mississippi Association of Drug Court Professionals conference that is going to be held August 24th through 26th. I have one more to sign in. I missed the meeting when I had some others that came, and I just need clarification. I had set for Roberta Blackman to go and for Nifa Hardy to go. And I was told that Roberta, she's a contract worker, so she needs to pay for it herself and then get reimbursed, which is fine. Then Nifa, I was told, was not approved. And my thing is, I have, this is part of the grants, and she's part of the team, part of the drug court team. That's why I have so many people go to the conference that the grant pays for it. So it's not the county paying for it, it's the grant paying for it and get reimbursed. The county gets reimbursed for all of it. So I'm just trying to see what I need to do or.
You, Mr. President,
Yes.
you just did enough right there to break it down and gave me enough information where I can move on forward, because we not paying for it.
Correct. The
The
county,
grant paying
the
for it,
grant.
so-
Grant is paying.
I don't have a problem with that. I thought this was coming out, county budget, but since the grant paying for it and we not paying for it, me personally, I don't have a problem.
You heard the
That's
request.
the way y'all do y'all business.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
That is all I have today. Thank you.
Thank
Can you
you.
send it to me? Email.
Next item on the agenda is Mr. Larry Hughes.
Trust first.
President, the Board of Supervisors, thank you very much for this morning. Just want to go back over a couple things with you real quick. As you probably noticed, we do have Tri-State in our land road that's on the docket for this morning. And what we're trying to do is just get Tri-State back on track once again, because they did a terrific job last year bringing us up to speed and catching up on a lot of things. So all we're trying to do this morning is to get them started for the following year coming up. We're talking about the it's 2023 land road and the deeds. That's what we're talking about this morning. Now, I do have Monica from Tri-State, which is online right now, if you have any additional questions. But that's what we're trying to do. Matter of fact, we're going to save a little money this year because when we first started out, we had Delta. And once we got everything approved with Delta, that $2,500 for our I'm sorry, here we go. When we first started out, we had Delta for the index imaging and the deed imaging and the index information. All it does is transfer information from the deeds to Tri-State. So basically, that's gonna save some money, close to $2,500 for each, which was a total of $5,000. So when you look at our map maintenance, paperwork here. Map maintenance is gonna be $37,000. Our land use is gonna be $3,000, which brings the total of $40,000. We did have our web hosting gonna bring us about $6,000, so we're talking about a total of $46,000 this year. Last time around, we was close to $49,000, close to $50,000, so we are saving a little money this time around. So all we're trying to do is get Tri-State back on track with our deeds and land roads, and those type of things.
So he's requesting for approval for how long for Tri-State?
Tri-State.
For how long?
For 1 year.
For another 1 year renewal?
1 year.
Very good request, the tax assessor.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll do our land road this morning.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I got a question for Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, I've been having a couple people asking me about properties that has been burnt and being reassessed because they got a real high assessment, like the property is livable. So if a property been burnt for a couple of years and it still have the value like somebody can live in it, don't somebody need to go out and re-evaluate that property and come up with a different?
What we do, it takes about 4 years sometimes we do go out and evaluate everybody's property. But in this instance, we do get a report from the fire department. And once they get that to us, then we know that it's been caught on fire. If we don't get that fire report, a lot of times we won't even know. But we do have people to go out year after year and relook at the land.
So, could you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
And make sure you keep in touch with the fire department and when these houses catch on fire, especially inside the city limits, you can get a report where the following year they can kind of come down a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
And if something happens where it falls through the cracks, they can always go to the tax assessor's office or to us, and we can actually correct it if it's been erroneous like that.
Who can do that?
Well, the board ultimately has to say so, but we have to have the tax assessor, don't have to, but it's easiest to get the tax assessor that requests it.
You say they can go to, who is they?
The board,
Someone whose
the
home
person that
is
has
burned can go to
Well,
the tax
that's the
assessor.
reason I'm saying that, because the people don't know. That's the reason I'm saying that.
That's why I was saying it. So if that, something like that happens, then we can do a petition to reduce the taxes. If, for instance, our house was burned down, we can kind of backtrack into that and show
So
the
if
values change.
If you inherit a piece of property from a family member and you're not used to paying taxes and doing all this, so when this situation come up, you just don't know.
That's right.
And it's 2 or 3 years later, you still paying like the house livable, but it's been burnt for 2 years.
It's not what it's being assessed for, and that's why the law allows us to adjust that for that particular year. So it's something you need to get questions on any of your taxes. It's go to the tax assessor's office and they'll help you out. Peggy will tell you what you do and don't.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is Mr. Frederick McGee.
You didn't give it to him. You gotta
Know that he's here, I don't know, is
Just,
he online?
just a minute, please.
You gotta just tell him you're giving him the road, the recap.
Okay,
That's all. Just
okay, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry, I just want to make it to your attention, we will give you a copy of the recap, Robert.
get out of here.
We will be getting that to you this morning. And also, we want to try to say we'll be getting that to you also to have it signed. So I'll give that to you this morning.
Okay.
The road. We
Yeah, where is
finished the recap.
You have it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got it all right here.
Got it right here.
Give it the page. Good news is we're all up on real and personal this year. That's good news.
That's to be fussed this year.
Ma'am?
I had to fuss this year.
No fussing.
Get a motion finding that he's filed the recap.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Wilson, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Recap can change and probably does within the next month or so, and it definitely can change when the appeals come in. So
Yeah.
All right, Mr. McGee, I guess, is not here. Next item on the agenda is going to be city government business, if any. No city government business. Next we go to departmental reports.
Good morning. I'm Ms. Barton. I'm the purchasing clerk for the Adams County Board of Supervisors. I only have 2 things this morning. As you all know, I was previously approved for me to advertise for the bids for trucks for ACSO and also for the voting machines. I did those bid openings Wednesday. There were no bids for the trucks for ACSO, but we did have one bid for the voting machines for election commissions, and that was from ES&S, which is Election Systems and Software. I have submitted that information to Paige. It was in the amount of $148,218. And there's also a contract that needs to be signed, and I also have submitted that to Paige as well.
You heard the request, Ms. Martin.
So moved.
What was the price?
Well, I got it.
148,218. And there's also an annual post-warranty license and maintenance and support fees of $8,951. I've submitted all of that to this page proposal.
We have a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Is that the same group that was here before, that we approved?
We approved it.
And then we, okay.
Was the original group?
The budget amendment to reimburse, they're gonna reimburse us for $96,000 of it.
Okay.
So it's already.
And this is that original group that came. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
I'm here to present the total cost for 911 for the month of June. We had, the police department with 1,161, the sheriff's department with 643, the fire department with 29 total calls. And also wanted to see if we could get a meeting with the city and county to get a move on with the building, see where we are with the building.
Scott, we talked to them about setting up a meeting about.
We've asked for a meeting, and we had one set, but then they had to cancel. So
Are we able to reschedule it for a later date, possibly?
we had a 911 meeting too, where the 911 group wanted to review the budget that was proposed and approve it. So they're supposed to be getting back to us. I have no doubt that they would not approve the budget, because all we did was take what was the active budget and include a debt service for that business.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
to be honest with you, until, we figure out what role the city gonna play in, E911 and with the jail and everything else, I really don't understand how we can make a decision on them when we don't even know what they're gonna do. Until we really find out what role they're gonna play in this, then we can move forward. Other than that, how can we move forward?
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, boys. Appreciate the lovely day. Today is my birthday. Appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
25?
Nah, I wish it. Just got a couple of updates this morning. We did reach out to the, one individual did respond back to us to go ahead and build the showers for the safe room. So right now, we're waiting on his bid. So as soon as we get his bid, I'll go ahead and present that to him. We'll present it to the board on the total cost of it. It's gonna be a 20 by 20, as we discussed, male and female shower. One shower will be a regular shower. We're gonna have the ADA accessible. So if anybody in wheelchairs and stuff like that, we'll be in compliance with ADA when we build it. So we will be able to code on that. Also, we did get the ice machine in for the safe room. Johnny's gonna put that in this week. So hopefully we'll be able to have ice at the safe room on that. As for the weather, like I say, want everybody to just stay hydrated. We're gonna have some hot temperatures out there. Great thing, we had reached our peak of hurricane season, so be abreast on that. So we are being prepared. We started having conferences, an event. We do have to open the shelter, so we're ahead of that. We have the game on that. Also, we've been doing active shooter training with different counties, part of our Regional Emergency Planning Committee. We did one in Jefferson County last week, so they was able to see what their shortcomings are. We'll be going to Wilkinson County at the end of this month, then we'll turn around and be back in Adams County in October-November timeframe. So, just give you a heads up on that. That's all I have. Any questions on the board? What you got?
The showers, did you do more than one bid?
Yeah, I requested information, they the only one sent one back.
Okay.
That can be able to get to us this year.
Requested, we have to have.
2 written bids if it's under.
Right, I can't make them send me information back, I can send it, drawings, what we need, and I can't go, because like I say.
You can't do it unless you have 2 bids, or you can put it out for advertising.
Right, so maybe we need to put out for advertising, because like I said, the ones that the county uses, I went to all of them, that licensed and bonded, and only one responded back.
Okay.
So I don't know what else we need to do.
We gonna have to.
Yeah, because I ain't trying to spend $50,000 for a shower, we're not doing that.
Well, yeah, but we still have to have.
Right.
Yeah. More.
So do we need to go and advertise that?
We need to, if you can't get.
No, I'm saying we need to do, because like I said, we need a shower.
Get with purchasing.
Yeah.
Purchasing really needs to be doing
Okay.
Right.
the requesting anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we got, all right, that's all I have.
She needs to be trying to find the bids, not.
Mary Kay, did you have something?
I have one more thing, yes, I'm sorry. I had a travel that I turned in for the MADCP, and I forgot to say the person's name, but it's Deputy Edgar Winston that We're trying to go attend that, and I turned it in. So that was for him to attend the MADCP conference. He is part of our drug court team. Any questions?
You heard the request. Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins. Second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm looking for approval from the board to put a request in for an application for the rural fire truck program through the state. And here it is, I think we have round 4 now with the state fire marshal's office, where they'll pay $50,000 on the state half, and the county will pay the other half if we get approved for fire trucks for volunteer fire departments here. But we're not gonna have, we can get the application, they kind of advise me, go ahead and try to get the application, put it in, just in case they do get money for the program, and we'll have our application in if we get approved and anything like that for the truck. So I'm just asking for your approval to request for application.
Is there anything available through the Forestry Commission?
Yeah, we had to put in for it, but I'm not sure if the rating bureau will accept those for as the fire rate. I mean, you can put in for the trucks, fire trucks, through the Forestry Commission, but I'm not sure if the rating bureau will accept them for a rating.
And those would be at no cost to the county, correct?
What's that?
If we got a truck through the Forestry Commission.
$100. Yep. So I had to check the rating bureau to see if they accept, they accept probably as tankers or something like that, but I'm not sure that's gonna count toward our rating. So, our trucks are getting old, so through the RIF tap program, we can get some new fire trucks. Because like I said, some of them on the last leg.
Well, $100 is a lot better than, what was it, 50,000? So can we look into that?
You pay half and then count the other half, but like I said, I'm not sure how the rating bureau will accept, toward our rating. So if
We
it's
gotta
not-
ask them, or we'll
Yeah,
never
I can
know.
ask, yeah. But again, we get the truck and they don't accept them and they come down and do a rating. I hate to lose our rating, go back from 9 to 10 and from 7 to 8, then that insurance, you look at the insurance going up again.
If they won't accept them, we won't get them. We gotta get an answer first.
All right.
In my opinion,
I agree.
I'm just one.
Yeah, I checked the rating bureau, see if they accept those for the rating part of it, but like I said, we gotta start looking into the equipment getting older.
I understand. Yes, ma'am.
What's the deadline on that program too?
It's not one.
It's not, okay. Yeah, we didn't check on that first.
All right.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
Just a quick update. EWP Group 4 project, pre-construction meeting for that project is going to be held tomorrow at 9 a.m. So we're going to get that project, get started. We intend to issue the notice to proceed following that meeting after we meet with the contractor. The strike only project, Newman SAP 019 program form was submitted. State aid has told me that that is now being circulated for signature, so hopefully we should be approved soon, and we'll get started designing that project. The Burke Road project, we did really receive some preliminary comments for that project that require a field inspection. So the state aid has tried to attempt to set it up for the 12th or the 13th. Just got an email that said the MDOT wants to be involved, so they're asking for a set of plans to do their review. So I'm not sure how long that's going to take. That's new to us. So we just found out as of right now. And that's pretty much all I have. Unless there are some questions from the board.
President, when would y'all hear from that raise grant? Did you say sometime in July, maybe, this month? The raise grant we applied for?
That would be RVR.
Yeah.
That we should receive some notification from. It takes a little longer on the raise grant, so I haven't heard anything back from it yet. And I can also reach out to Ms. Buck, who's was the spirit for that raise grant, and see if she heard anything.
Yeah, if you would, reach out and give me a call. We can notify the board, however we need to do it, just, I'll bring it to the next meeting, however, it'll be fine.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. When you say this was something new that they were doing now, what do you mean by that?
Well, so typically when we do projects that are administered by state aid, we follow the state aid's process as far as the submittals, the review. So we were under the impression, I talked to Mr. Dixon, that once we set a field review, the MDOT would just attend the field review. Or the email out received that they want to see the copy of the set of plans, so they want to handle it like a LPA project. So I was not under the impression that we was handling it like a LPA project for as Burke Road is concerned. So once I leave this meeting, I'll get clarity on what they're requesting. I haven't had a chance to make any phone calls because I've been here.
So my next question is, what's the difference between the two projects as far as the way they handle?
Well, state aid projects are pretty streamlined. You submit a set of plans, you get comments back, you do a peer review, you get additional comments back, you submit those plans back, and then we get ready to go to construction. LPA, they want to review these set of plans as well, and then they set a review, and then we go through that same process. So just a little bit longer, and so I'm trying to get clarity on why they want us to submit this way. So, yeah. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to reach out to anyone yet.
I got a question. On the Burke Road Bridge, you said y'all already have plans in place. Is that bridge gonna move anyway? Is it gonna stay where it's at? The reason I'm asking, because you know, we gotta figure out a way to get those people in and out. I've been down there looking a couple of times.
The bridge will remain the same location. Only thing about that bridge is gonna be longer than the existing bridge.
Okay. So it's going in the same location?
Same location.
Tomorrow after our meeting at 9, can we ride and look? I want to maybe pour some pillows to the side and shift that bridge to the side if we can get some right of way south of that, or well, you know, of it, to try to move it to get those people in and out.
That'd be perfect. Fine, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Let me know, please, I'm gonna go with y'all.
Okay, we got a meeting at 9, then after that.
And then, maybe you can give us a breakdown too on the Burke Road meeting when you talk to him about.
Mr. President,
Yes.
one more question. Scott, we went to visit 6 Landown Park Road and met with the owners of that. Have y'all touched bases? Have y'all heard from the owners to figure out what they're gonna do?
No, where I left it, I thought that the contractor was gonna come over and ride down with you, and y'all were gonna make sure that that didn't interfere with the,
I ain't heard from nobody. I hate to see that we got some funds to help somebody and they end up losing these funds and their yard end up eroding and then we can't get these funds back and something needs to happen.
so email me again or text me again right now.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything, Mr. Fuller?
If not, thank you so much.
Thank you. Real quick before, I'm gonna back up real quick. Are you Mr. McGee?
Yes, sir.
George.
Mr.
Yeah,
Hey, Wood.
We should be getting the plans for Morgantown Road. We should be getting those like today or whatever. So we'll get them over to you.
So are y'all asking me to move forward with anything that relates to?
Yeah, well, what I would like to do is give you the plans and then you tell us what we need to do to move forward and start doing it. I think that's what the board wants.
Yes.
If I have a set of plans and they give me the contract documents, which based on their submittal, phase they in, they should have submitted plans and contract documents at one time. All the environmental permitting should have been done. If that's been true, and we had the plans, and we just got to package up and advertise.
But I think that still left undone. They needed the attorney's book or whatever, right-of-way book, which I've got on a jump drive, which I can get that to you as well. And then they needed the utility agreement hadn't been done yet. But yeah, basically I want to give you the plans and then you tell us what we need to do, because I'm not an engineer, I'm not sure what we need to do. I know There may be things that
Stormwater
need to
plan.
still be done.
Well, they just give me everything, just give me a chance to review it, and I can give you a.
Okay.
So Scott, timeline, we talking about taking care of this win. The transaction for is, we giving them the money, they giving us the plans, we giving them to IMS, and IMS come back and letting us know exactly what we need to do to get this project started.
Well, I hope IMS George will shoot me an email saying, Scott, we need this, that, and the other on seeing the plans, not wait until just a meeting. Of course, he'll give a report each meeting, but we start effectuating the Morgantown Road and have it, ready to go. So that's.
Well, let me say this. I got elected in 2016, and this started way before I got here. And to be honest with you, I really don't like what I'm seeing with how on every level people are playing games with Morgantown Road. I really don't like that. And what I would like to see is this thing gonna move a little faster, because once we get those plans and you look over the plans, and if we need to adjust them plans or whatever we need to do, I appreciate it if you contact us immediately, because if we have to call a special call meeting to go and make a motion to get the funding, because then you just say that y'all got something from Manning or somebody to say that
The money's there.
our money should be there from the federal level, the earmark. Okay, we just need to go on and move forward, because we still have use tax money, and we just need to identify funding mechanism to fund this, right?
You're gonna have to identify the funding. We know we have to get the utility agreement. I'm waiting, Georgia will be able to tell us if anything else is left undone, because I'm not sure everything has, not based on anything in this room is done. I'm not sure if the previous engineer had everything up in line or whatnot. I'm not confident in that. That's why I want George to look at it when he gets those plans. If he says we need to do X, Y, and Z, we're gonna go do X, Y, and Z, and he's gonna do the same. And then as far as funding sources, we do have federal earmark money. We know that's not gonna be enough to complete the whole project. There are several different options that y'all can use, but the board needs to make a decision and do that, if that's what you're gonna do.
President Middleton, let me say this, because Supervisor Gray, you keep saying the the use tax money. And I think there was a discussion about the use tax money. And like I say, you don't want to be on that level of people playing games and anything. But when, what's his name, was he here? Namby, yes, when he was here, and you said you did not hear that, he said that use tax money would go toward that bond. Am I correct, to pay the bond with?
The proposal that Nandy brought was that you would go ahead and borrow, $7.5 million that can be used for roads, bridges, which would include, it can be used for Morgantown Road, it can be used for, any road that the board can do, and that the debt service would be paid based on the unused use tax money, because we are already using some of it programmed it in. We're not taking that out, because that leads to inefficiency. We're using the unprogrammed use tax money to pay the debt service. That is what Nandy proposed. So,
well, Mr. President, let me say this. I brought this paper to this board before NAMI even came down here. And the 2022 number is $934,483, and the estimate amount for the following year is 1.2, which is going to be more than 1.2, because every time they estimate that we're going to have something, it always go higher. Now, this is what NAMI is talking about right here. I don't have a problem with that, but in this, that 2.1 for 2022 and 2023 need to go toward Morgantown Road. That's all I'm saying. This is what he's talking about, that we could possibly borrow against right here at the bottom. So that's all I'm saying.
Yes, it is.
Again, I'm not, you know,
It's the early renewal money. That's what you're talking about.
That's used taking money.
It's
But
not
each
money
year.
here. I know this is once for each year, but does it total to this?
No.
This is a different
He
total
talking
here.
about borrowing and using our money to
Money
pay it
for
back.
this, right.
But this amount need to go toward Morgantown Road, that's what I'm saying. That's what I
You're
propose.
talking about this amount in that borrowed money,
Yeah,
that used
yeah.
money.
The question is that 2 million included in that 8 million? Is 22 and 23 included in that $8 million total that he gave you at the bottom? That's the question, and I can't answer that, only Nancy can. Right?
It's not included.
Isn't there also some other roads that we're gonna be dealing with use
Yes.
tax money? It just won't all be going to Morgantown Road.
No,
Oh, no,
7.5 million.
it won't be all going.
No,
It definitely won't all be going to Morgantown.
The only way we could get Morgantown Road started, we got to say we're gonna use 2.4 million from the earmark. We're gonna use 2.1 of this money, and if we need 100 more thousand, we can use it from the AARP money. We got $5.9 million from the AARP money. So the money that we use from here, we can take it back out and use it toward Morgantown Road, or whatever the case may be. That's what it's for.
Supervisor Gray, we also need to find out what the city is willing to put up before we start saying we're gonna use this and this. Let's find out what the city is
Well, I'm
gonna
gonna tell you,
put up.
Supervisor Hudson, we've been sitting back here waiting on, trying to find out what the city gonna do with this, and this. It'll be next year, and Morgantown Road will be still sitting out there wondering what the city gonna do.
No, because we never submitted what the city, that mileage to the city for.
What was that?
Okay, so did you get something
Wait,
back from them?
hold. Let me help y'all out. When we did this project, and we correct me if I'm wrong, and we submitted everything, the city wasn't even involved. They volunteered to do this.
Right, that's right.
Okay, well, if somebody wanna contact them to see how much money they gonna come up with, that's fine with me. But we shouldn't be sitting back here waiting and depending on the city of the Natchez to help us when they wasn't even part of this from the start.
Well, we're really not waiting on the city to help us because we already got the earmark money that we can get started with.
I thought you said wait to see what the city gonna
No,
put.
I say before you talk about all this use tax money, we already got earmark money that we can get started on this project. In the meantime, while we're getting started.
Gotta have it all in place.
We gotta have all the money.
You gotta have
That's
the
what I'm
earmark
trying to say.
plus the other funding, plus those other four that you gotta get.
To get this project kicked off, you got to have all the funding mechanisms in place. And at the end of the day, if you want to take the money from ARP and put it back into this, that's fine with me. But I'm just trying to get this project kicked off before next year when we can't get it kicked off because we're going to be in the last 6 months of our term. That's all I'm saying. So, Scott, could you work with him to figure out exactly what we're gonna do, when the transition gonna take place for him to get the plans from Jordan Cousins session and whatever else we need to do by then, we ought to know whether we're gonna get any funds from the ERBR money.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, George helping me out, or, really me helping him out, I guess would be better. The way I said, I'm just looking forward to it because,
As soon as I get something in my hand, I can start my process.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put it in his hands and hopefully I'll be assisting him. He'd be telling me this, that, and the other and telling the rest of the board.
They have it ready for me tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need to drive.
I just feel like there's gonna be things that George is gonna say we need to do to get the project ready for bid. I just had that feeling, and that we're gonna go do it. We can, the city already offered. I mean, I'm with you on what you're saying, Ricky. City offered, we need to follow that up. We need to keep moving our, making.
Could you call it up today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, follow the back.
All right.
Any more questions?
Any more questions?
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We're gonna back up a little bit. I did see that, Pafford Ambulance Service came in, so we'll let y'all have the podium if you'd like.
Good morning, I apologize for being late.
That's all right.
I thought the meeting was at 10, instead of 9, so we're still Easter time this morning. I'm Shane Davidson, I'm the COO of Pafford EMS for Louisiana and Mississippi. We mainly wanted to come here today to introduce ourselves and kind of tell you what business we have in Adams County and Concordia Parish. Over the past 3 or 4 months, we've been getting an influx of calls just for non-emergency transportation, for helicopter and ground. We have both, we have air and ground service. We're based out of Ruston, Louisiana. We service 7 parishes in Louisiana and 8 counties in Mississippi. And we started getting an influx of calls from the hospitals here, from Merritt, from Trinity over in Verity, just to do a lot of non-emergency calls that the other ambulance services couldn't get to. And so we were doing so many that we decided to set up a base here. And so that's what we've done. We're going to be housed in the near future in Merritt, inside the hospital on the backside of the ER. The CEO asked us to be there for that. And then we have made a capital investment in Verity, Louisiana. We have bought the old Budweiser, the Marcelo beverage there on 84. We bought that entire building and renovated it. We can land our helicopter there. It's pretty conducive to what we do. We've got about 600 employees, roughly, just under 600. 75 ambulances. We've got 4 helicopters, and we have 2 fixed-wing aircraft. We've actually got the only fixed-wing air medical aircraft in the state of Mississippi, and it's based at Hawkins Field in Jackson. So I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that we're here, and just kind of didn't want you to see Pafford trucks running around and wonder where we were from and what we were doing here. So, does anybody have any questions? This is our CEO, Greg Pafford. This is our Chief of Staff, Amy Lashery. And this is Fred McGee. We call him Mr. Everything. He kind of does it all. But we're glad we're here. We've had a really, really good response from the hospitals and the nursing homes, the dialysis centers. We're not going to be running any emergencies. We realize we're not part of the 911 contract, anything like that. This is strictly non-emergency. Nursing home to hospital, hospital to nursing home, hospital to hospital, going to Elliott, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, just higher level of care. So, but we appreciate you putting us on the agenda today.
Mr. President, just want to welcome y'all to Adams County, and whatever we can do to assist y'all, I guess we can do that. And I do know Mr. Fred McGee over there. He's a former supervisor from Tylertown, and I know him real well. So welcome back.
Thank you.
The mission do here.
We've had a warm welcome so far. We want to let you know that we do a lot. We have a lot of community involvement. Balloon races, things like that. We stand by the ambulance. We don't charge the city or the county or anything like that. We'll always have, an ALS presence there in case someone, needs an ambulance. But football games, things like that. If we were asked to do that, we would do that. But we will not be running any emergencies. The only emergencies that we might possibly do are if the nursing homes have an emergency, they could call us directly instead of going through 911. I don't know that they'll do that, but we've made it perfectly clear to all the nursing homes that we are not a part of the 911 system. If you call 911, you won't get Pafford, so they understand that. So everybody's very receptive.
And that's how it's been for any emergency system. If a patient prefers a different one, they always can call them. But if they call 911, they get routed to the county, who the county is a contract with.
Right. And we've made that clear to the hospitals and the nursing homes that it's always patient choice. They can choose they have the right to choose whoever they want to choose, whether it's emergency or non-emergency. We don't control that. So, yeah, we're interested in that. If the contract expires or whatever, we would definitely help you put out a proposal, but we're interested in that. We will also be offering a membership program. For $60 a year. It covers ground and air medical. People are indigent, have no insurance, anything like that. We give them a 60% discount on the bill. We have contracts with the hospitals and the nursing homes. We don't want to send anybody elections or, anything like that. We don't have any really aggressive collection efforts.
Yeah.
So the membership program offsets that, it kind of helps with that.
That's what I was gonna ask you about the membership program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you say $60 a month?
A
Is that
year.
A year?
Per year. $60 per year. It's a very good investment
Okay, great.
for $60.
That was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
All the membership.
Today's actually our first day, so we will, probably the next month or two, try to implement a membership drive.
Okay, another question I have on that.
Sure.
Say, and that $60, that is for family? Is that for family or just for individual?
That's family.
Okay, now let me ask this question. Say if I have someone out of town, can I add that person on that membership?
Like a relative?
Yes, like your child's child.
Oh, yeah, if he's under 26 years old, but
Has to
the
be under
child lives
26.
somewhere else, but
Right.
yeah, you can add. Yeah. As long as
That's
third person's under 26.
One thing I'm saying, when y'all leave y'all contact information with the secretary. I know everybody in the state of Mississippi know Fred's number, but leave y'all.
Look, hey, Fred knows everything. Look, Fred he can fix anything from a broken heart to the crack of dawn. But we'll leave our information.
Along with Supervisor Gray, I'd just like to welcome you on to Miss Lou. I did see Saturday, I believe I saw the building y'all required on Fairview Day Highway. Wasn't aware of that, so.
Yeah, we're gonna have an open house probably the next month or so, and we'll send out invitations. We'd love to showcase that. It's a really, really nice building, and it's perfect for what we need it for. I mean, everybody's been very supportive of it. We just finished the construction. We got a few more little things to do here and there, but it's been a major undertaking, with IT stuff, the radios, it's been a lot. And this is something we've been working on for months. Right. But today's our first day, so we just want to come and introduce ourselves.
When we started at 7, our first call was at 6:30.
Five.
It was at 5.
I must say, y'all kind of slipped into town, because I didn't know anything about it. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry we were late.
Yes, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Before y'all leave, I have one question.
Sure.
Hi.
Sorry about Steve. But we transport and mental health patients.
We will, So our understanding of mental health is, does the sheriff and police department do that now?
We do, but I know sometimes people don't come through the sheriff's office, they go to the hospital. And they need an ambulance to get them to other places.
Right.
And so that's why I was wondering, did y'all transport?
Okay.
Put the acute care out there at the hospital to wherever they need to go?
Okay, absolutely. Because we don't want them to get you back in one of your cruisers and something happen, have a medical emergency.
Yeah, I'm
I think it'd be a while.
Well, then that takes a liability off you.
That's right.
The medical provider.
That's right.
All right.
Yep.
Thank y'all for coming.
You bet. Thanks, y'all. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Have 2 items. First of all, I have a new hire, that needs to go forward, Mr. Xavier Davis.
Do I have that?
Huh?
Do I have that, or do you have it?
I don't know, I sent it to Crystal last week, I don't know. I do have a copy of all the paperwork, so if you need, I can hand it off to you.
I don't have it.
Okay, I got it right here. Background check, and all this stuff. Also, I have some of the MOUs that we sent out a few weeks ago. I have 3 of those from some of the counties that we sent them out to. And those MOUs need to pass before the board. And so I have 3 of those
and I'll hand them off to Scott.
Yeah, what we'd have to do is do a resolution authorizing basically an ILA between the two of them. And then you need that county and this county to do it, and then send it off to the Secretary of AG and then Secretary of State.
Now, they've been signed by
She's got
the
to
county
sign it, it's got to get sent.
that I sent them out to,
She's not.
and our judge, and so.
Yeah, he cannot sign things that bind the government. or bind
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
county.
saying, that's what I'm saying, that's why I'm giving it to you guys, so.
Yeah, shoot them over to, I know you tried to catch up with me
Right.
late last week.
Right.
But
So
we'll get it
just
on.
let me know what I need to make this.
Okay. And then that'll be in place for any other counties or agreements, you'll know
Okay.
the process and
Can I
stuff.
hand this off to you right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Where did I?
Computer's broken, so.
I need her to sign this. Robbie, hold on.
Can't sign until it's signed. That's what I can process. It come out, no, you can't sign it. Yeah, 'cause what's your name is? We got a couple of new hires. Angie, is that something that y'all can go ahead and enter in them into the system?
I can.
Okay, so we got,
You did?
I can.
Okay.
so can we approve some, you get those entered in before the next pay period? Is that okay?
Okay, so let's cover this one first. From Mr. Upshaw, Xavier Davis, this is a new hire, juvenile detention correctional officer, hourly rate $12, annual rate $24,960. Can I get a motion?
So,
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Make a note that Kelly was out.
And I'm sure Paige will send you a reminder.
Okay.
No, Robbie's got some too.
That was only one, Robbie.
Well, time might be higher, just bring to those positions.
Xavier Davis. You want to hit those first, Robbie?
Yeah, I will. I got 3 individuals that's, moved to, equipment operators, over time. I've had, people retire, hadn't been able to replace them, so these guys have stepped up, been in these positions for a while, so I'm gonna just leave them there. The first one being Marcus Washington. He's at $14.50, he'll go to $15.50, which will be $32,240 a year. The next one being Terry Prater. Same situation, he'll go with $32,240 a year. The last one being Lee McNeely, going to the same position, $32,240. That was 2 people that went in, Michael Chapman and the construction crews, which is Terry Prater and Marcus. And the other one, Lee McNeely, he took the motor grader's position on the north side of town after Mr. McKnight retired, so that's how long it's been.
I know, that's all.
For this long, so leave them in their positions they're in now.
You heard the request. Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, Lord.
And what's Marcus' last name?
Washington.
Marcus Washington, yes, ma'am.
What about Doug's position? Has you had anyone for it?
I have not, I'm still, matter of fact, I've given, they said to her, either 6 or 7, is that correct? Positions we're still now in the road department, that we're trying to get applications hired, it's a hard process. But yes, that's, how many we down in our road department as we speak? All right, first thing I have on my list today is, the day after election. We go to those precincts, we're there about 8 o'clock to get the boxes and get them in. You have a hard time getting in at 8 o'clock. Sometimes it's 9 or after, before we get those precincts open to let us in to get those boxes out and back where they need to be. And we start at 7, so like I said, we try to get to 8 to get there, we do, but we are there at 8. When it takes that long, that takes, 3 or 4 hours out of your day, to get those boxes up and get them returned back. Mr. Gardner started a new thing this year, and I don't have the list in front of, or this election, he was gonna try it, that he sent someone around with our department, and we done like, say, District 1 and 2 at 8 o'clock, District 3 and 4, whatever, at 9 o'clock, and then 1 at 10 o'clock, or whatever this time, to do it instead of going like we normally go and get them all. But it seemed to work out, but then when we got ready to pick them back up, it's not, it's not working out. They don't have them open. But then you go there and then you call and you still sit and wait. So, like I said, that takes part of our day, or pretty much, half our day on that day after to get the boxes up. If we could get with each precinct or whoever's supposed to do it and ask them, please be there at 8 o'clock where we can get them up, that'd be a big help to the road department. Next thing, yes,
Mr. President, Robert, let me ask you a question. When y'all pick up these, machines, everybody in the road department doing it, or you got a select group?
Depends on how big the election is. If the election's pretty big, we put out a bunch of boxes per precinct. It takes everybody there. We don't have like 10 people per area to go get them anyhow. You know what I'm saying, to put them out. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, like the other day, it wasn't 2 boxes per precinct, so it wasn't, what I'm saying, we'd have to take everybody to do it. But when it is a big, like
a general election?
Correct. It takes pretty much everybody to get them all out.
All the road department?
Well, not the maintenance shop, but it's pretty much all the road department. You can talk about 20 people, 22,
So
3, 4 people.
if you had a schedule from, each precinct like you talking about, and you say y'all deliver precinct 1 at 8 o'clock, and y'all deliver precinct 2 at 10 o'clock, and y'all deliver precinct 2 at 3 at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or whatever the case may be, would you still have to utilize
I
all
would have
that
to utilize it.
personnel?
That's what I think he was trying this time, since it was just a few boxes per area to go, and he did try that this time. This is the first time. Normally, we show up down there, here at the courthouse at 8 o'clock, start gathering boxes. They, this many boxes go to this precinct, this one goes to this one. But like I said, getting them out's not bad, and true enough, we wouldn't have to use everybody if we could do that way. But to pick them back up is what, I guess what gets us. I guess after the election, people just, not hurry to open the precinct back up. And we don't have any keys. Used to, they want to give us keys to this and that. I didn't like that. I didn't feel like the road department needed to be responsible for this church or this building or what, as far as keys.
I don't know, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I read something say we were responsible for that. The Board of Supervisors was responsible for those precincts.
We are.
For the receipts? Yeah, it's in where they are.
So, I know I have 2 schools in, my precinct, and the only time you probably have a problem is when you're out of school. For bringing them back, if you can schedule to bring them in Morgantown and Fraser, during school hours, they're gonna be open.
They're gonna be there, correct.
Now, there's a possibility that Fraser may not be open. I was talking to Scott, we might have to do some other kind of adjustment because, well, I got a guy I can call, Melvin Davis, and I can say, hey, I need this over, I need that over when it comes to the schools, and he's right on. But I know the general election is big, we got a lot of machines, but if you do what you say and get those people to say, well, can you have it on at 9?
Correct, that would help. We could go do something else and then a few go at 9, you know what I'm saying? That would help. And I think, and that's the reason I just brought it forward, that, let it know, this could be a problem to get them up, not to get them out.
Yeah, I just hate to see the whole road department just lose the whole day just putting out machines when we could get a little more organized and we can use half of the road department instead of the
And
whole.
like I said, he did that this time. He put, scheduled, he called and told me, I need this many, with this group, and that's what we call total performance, and these few, and that's what they did.
Yeah, that was a runoff though.
Yeah, so.
It ain't gonna be no problem with runoff, it's just general action. Thank you.
Next thing I have is the narrows. I don't know if anybody get any calls. I've showed them to Wes, showed them to Ricky. We do have some issues down there once the water dropped out on top of the box. We probably lost about 3 foot, plus the farmers has been in, and now some tree cutters have been in, so we've got probably a week or 2 of work down there. We've got to do probably a week. I just got to get with the landowners down there and see if we can get some material from down there once we start moving in, but it'll be a couple of weeks before we get there, because we're gonna finish up on the river. We did get a rental dozer this morning, so we are fixing to start, or they should be working on the big hole today on that river, so I'm looking at a couple of weeks out there to get that took care of. But I just want to let you know if y'all do get any calls about the narrows, that's where we at on it. Next thing I have, Scott, is 13 Myrtle Drive, that's it, lot.
Thank you. We need a resolution that finds that the road crew did go do a cleanup on it and adopt that this was the cost. It was $1,111.06. And we can put that assessment right back onto the property value. The board can also assess a fine of $1,500 as well. But we need a resolution if we want to try to recover our costs.
Yes. we need-
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion?
I had talked to Ms. Brandon Lewis. We gonna have to, even though this is not a state-owned property, we gonna have to find a better way to, I know it needs to be cut, but once you continue to add penalties to these properties, it ain't gonna never get sold, because ain't nobody gonna buy them. So, I don't know what can we do, but we probably need to do something different. But we got to cut the properties, because maybe we're gonna be complaining, but I don't know. I mean, Ms. Lewis said that she had a list from the State Department that the state-owned properties that they own, she was gonna send them out to each and every one of us, and maybe we can get with the state and either the next door neighbor or somebody can buy those properties and put those properties back on the tax roll.
Keep it going to see it.
There's a problem. Thank you.
And I'm sure Brain might bring it up in her report, but she contacted the Secretary of State, that's the manager of the properties that are sold and struck to the state. And just back when this process was set up to with tax sales and so forth, the state used to get a state tax mill. Every property in the state got a 2 mil tax. Well, that got struck down in the late 70s, so the state no longer gets any ad valorem taxation. So it really makes very little sense for the state to be continuing to manage these properties. But that's kind of just an anecdote. We got a list of the properties. There was a value for the properties, and we looked at them, and sometimes those values we didn't think were exactly accurate. So what we've done is we've asked our contract assessor to go back, particularly with these top 10 properties, and make sure that they're assessed correctly. Some of them, if they're over-assessed, for instance, I think one of them is a burned building, and it was assessed at some $50,000, as if it wasn't. Go back and reassess those properties, and if we can get them corrected, it would make it a lot easier for people to purchase those properties from the state. Because as it is now, you'd have to pay what their assessed value is for them or close to it, and that's just, that's not accurate when it comes to a burned down house. It's something not worth that. So we are looking to see if we can get those values back, and when Paige gets them struck to the state, she's going to start keeping track of those as well to make sure that they're assessed appropriately, and hopefully making those properties more enticing to other potential purchasers out there. And I'll look and see what we can do about Myrtle Drive, but if they're paying their taxes and they're paying their penalty, I mean, it's a lot cheaper to go out and hire somebody to do it yourself than to pay the road crew $1,000 plus a $1,500 penalty. It just makes good sense for them to do it. But we'll look and see what the other options are. Maybe that's some neglect issue. maybe a public nuisance kind of issue we can look at, pretty neat, and see what we can do. On privately held stuff, you know, obviously, they gotta do these things or pay the fine, but at the same time, there may not be a forfeiture
Any
procedure in there.
problems with the county doing it, water meters, septic tanks, things like that, you know, that's stuff that we have to go out and look for, gas, you know, gas meters and things that screwed up before we ever start, to make sure we don't get something like that on that property once it gets rolled up, so.
Fortunately, we don't do these all that often.
Correct.
We
You're right.
usually can get with the landowner and they'll clean it up, and just talk to them, because that's all we're trying to do. No one, we're not trying to, we don't, that's the last thing we want to do is actually assess the property. This may be the only one or two that we've ever really had it done. So, well, let's look and see what we can do about where we're at.
Next thing I have, last meeting.
Did you carry enough?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Next thing I had, last meeting I brought up at Newman Road, there's been a tree on the county right of way struck by lightning, part of the tree had fell, and the last on the other part is gonna fall. I did get prices, I know the board said I didn't have to come before the board, but I just like to. I did get 3 prices. On it, Mid-South was $2,250. TDF tree service was $2,400, and Live Oak was $3,000. So I did get 3 prices to remove that tree, and I'd like for you to give me permission to move forward with the lowest.
You heard the request.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Okay, did you give it to the landowner, right? I'd give it to
Yeah, well, it's
him.
out, but it's right there on the side of the road. I mean, it's, we're not even getting the yard.
Okay, just making sure.
But I will get with.
If you have to
Correct.
get outside the right of way, make sure you got
Correct.
permission.
We will.
Do you
I'll
have
have
those
them
bids?
sign.
Do you
Ma'am.
have any bids?
Yes, ma'am, I do, and the,
Or they can send them to you.
I'm sorry,
They
lady.
can send them to you.
All right.
I'll let you know.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Only other thing I have, and I showed Mr. Gaines this morning, spoke with a couple of the supervisors, Low Water Bridge Road, EWP, which submitted it last, I think it's been about a year. I submitted it, and 2 on Magnolia Bluff, both of them all 3 of them was approved. I'm hoping the funding will be here sometime this week or next week on those projects. But when it does get in, I'd like to get with the board on this Low Water Bridge. It has got up, either on the road or taking part of the road. We need to do something immediately once we do get the funding for that.
Do you have a picture?
I do, and I showed them, but I'll bring it up there too.
Well, if he shows you for me, that's fine, make sure everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an emergency, so as soon as we get that money, we need to, try to have, if we need an emergency meeting to, take care of it, we need to move forward, because it's actually at the road.
That's all I got.
Yes. Go ahead.
You posted the signs on McGee Road Bridge.
Correct.
I'd like to get a motion to find that those signs have been posted, put them on the minutes. At that point, our liability has been
So
removed.
moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, can I get a second?
Second.
So they come.
I'll go with you.
Second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, Robert, I don't know the address, but this is Supervisor Gray's area. West Wilderness, you know what West Wilderness runs out back into Broadmoor? When you come back, if you're coming back into Broadmoor, all the way to the bottom where that circle is, around right by, we have a drain goes by right beside Miss Jones at Jefferson's house down there. There's a county drain that right away where that water goes in there. I just happened to be in that area the other day and they stopped it and showed it to me. If you go around there and look at it, you'll see where it's at. It's starting to, say it did it way back maybe 20 years ago or better when Lionel was here, but it's starting to erode up in their yard, and I'm pretty much sure it is a water easement going down beside the house, because you can see where they kind of had fixed it and put the rock in it and stuff like that, a rock ditch. So I don't know exactly the address, but if you, I can give it.
Yeah, I wrote down, that's what I wrote down. I put West Wills Call 1.
Yeah, go down to the back, and it's actually, Ray, you know what I'm talking about? Miss Jones and Jefferson, in the back, When you come off of,
Hey, you ain't gotta explain, I trust you gonna take care of it.
okay.
Anything else?
Yeah.
We got a notice from MD&Q about Robbins Lake Dam. They demanded that we remediate that issue, replace that pipe. They gave us until, I believe, the end of October to get it done.
October 31st.
The estimate from the contractor, I believe it was $150,000 to do all that. So they're gonna be confused.
You'll get about 180.
Was it 180? I thought it was 100.
I'll let he give it to you.
Is this where the wrong pipe was put in there?
It is.
The
We got
wrong pipe was put in.
So,
We got an email Friday, it says, in the absence of communication from Jordan Geyser Sessions to address the issue with constructions of the Robbins Lake Spillway, MDEQ must issue the attached notice of violation, given us till October 31st to have it corrected.
I thought we were gonna try to coat the inside of that pipe or something.
They were checking on that when the grant,
Yeah.
to line it with something.
I think we're looking at just absorbing that cost. I guess we won't have to.
How much was it? 1 minute?
Okay.
180.
How much, Pop?
I think, I mean, I've got it on, that also email, I think it's turned in, Scott, I've got it from.
I was just trying to write something in my note, approximately what you
150 to 180,000.
said. Okay, this is,
I think y'all got it included in.
Yeah,
What
we
the
got
cost
it.
was. Yeah, they got, JKS got it too, what the cost, was. I don't know.
And I do have a concern
Yes, sir.
about access when that begins, because during construction phase, we did have that road stayed open.
Correct.
Is that doable still?
Won't have to be doable.
Now we're talking now.
I guess, I mean, it's, and you know, we pour a lot of concrete around those pipes and things like that and get them up and bust that concrete to do, it's gonna be a little more project coming out, you know,
Right.
so, and I guess.
Doesn't need to be an afterthought, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I said, but I guess at this time, with him saying JKS is gonna absorb the cost, is that something JKS will put out another contractor or stick with the same contractor to get the price of doing it?
Well, I mean, that's what we're in the process of looking at.
Okay. So maybe when we all have that answer to let the board know.
I would assume they'd want the same contractor if they can.
Well, I mean, I'm just, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, you know, we don't have to know that.
I mean, yes, I mean, we'll talk to the contractor.
Yeah, I'll get a
all
claim number, and we can talk the logistics of getting it done.
A little under 4 months, so. That's all I have. That's all I have. Thank you.
Board, I had Alabama before the sheriff did. Another update I've got for our EMSO money, when we allocate that money to purchase a EMS equipped vehicle for the AMR using the county. That vehicle's on back order. And we've been reaching out to the dealer, he hasn't been calling us. Ms. Barnes been trying to catch up with him. The dilemma we only have 6 months that we have to show a receipt that we paid that money. So in March, they're gonna be looking for us to send them a paid receipt, or we gotta refund the money back to the state. I've been looking at other options, I asked the board, I looked at, they do have some used trucks out there. So I don't know if that's one option that the board probably won't go with, at least get the used vehicle. You know, we're looking at, and I tell you now, used vehicles cost more than new ones now.
Yep.
And, you know, but it's one of the things, if you want to go ahead and invest that money or send it back. So that's,
The hardest thing about used vehicles is finding two of the same used vehicle to get through purchasing, you know? That's always your challenge.
What kind of vehicle?
they ordered a Ford, and there's a back order on them, trying to get them. And
Truck?
Yeah. And the ones that we tried to order, we ordered the specific lighting package for that. So we have to stick with a Ford now. First did the initial deal. But the guy that tells us that, you know, he wouldn't be able to get them in for a long time.
So this started in March, so your time runs out in August, is that what you're saying?
No. We have to March of next year.
March of next year, so you got
Yeah.
A good bit of time, okay.
But I'm saying it's on back order, so by the time we get it, and, yeah, all that money has to be spent.
Just a regular truck?
Yeah.
The 2023's be coming out.
Yeah, but I think it was 22 that we ordered.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he couldn't get them in, so, yeah.
Is this one on state contract?
Yeah, it was on state contract.
We got the same situation. I had the two pickups we ordered last October, and they hadn't been made yet. They said they might start them in July.
So what about on the lot? Is it any on the lot?
Well, they told me, for now, I reached out to Natchez for it, they do have some, that's what I'm saying, do we want to go with that option, but like I said, it's like a used vehicle, they got those price new ones now. I don't know why, but just.
So you said they have the used ones on the lot, they don't have a new one on the lot?
Right, well, the new one will be, but they don't have a new one for a state contract, right, so.
Well, here go my problem with that. You got a brand new vehicle on state contract price. You ain't gonna get a used one on state contract price. I ain't never heard of that one before.
No,
Can you do that?
No, you don't, if they don't have no, you can't go to the local, use your local vendors. If they
What
don't
I'm
have-
saying, but it's not gonna be on state contract price, so we gonna overpay for a used vehicle, with the money we could get a brand new vehicle for. We gonna sell it for a used vehicle, we don't even know what's wrong with it.
Or we do, or we don't get one at all.
Even if you don't spend the money, you're gonna lose the money.
We're gonna lose
And
the
you're gonna
money.
take the money back.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
what I'm
our
saying.
money. I mean,
So-
well, it's our money, but it's grant money that
It's
we're gonna.
grant
So
money.
you won't get a used vehicle?
I think go through purchasing and see what they can do with the money. That's what we need to do.
Right, what I'm saying is I already talked
All
about this.
purchases.
Right, that's what I'm saying, you can't, it's grant money, so it has to be spent a certain time.
Yeah, and it's also public funds, so if it's not spent or purchased correctly, then y'all
So
find
what
that.
you saying, he need to go through
Wait,
Go
purchase?
through purchasing and find out what it is. I don't think you'll have a problem if you go through purchasing and getting the vehicle if it's
Right,
over.
that's what I'm saying, we've already been with the person, I already talked to her, these are the only options I'm presenting to you today. Because we got, that money, gonna either we send the money back, or we take our chance waiting on the vehicle getting here. And it don't get here, we end up losing money. So that's the number we in.
You never get a VIN number, put them on PO, then your money's spent.
No, not this grant. This grant, yeah, even though we have a PO towards it, it still has to be spent.
Okay.
So I'm saying, we can't wait like
You
another
can't
8
pay for
months.
the truck before you receive it, is what you said.
Right, they gotta have a check saying it was cleared, paid by March. And we purchased all this equipment.
I'm not.
Can we just revisit with the purchasing clerk?
Yeah, that's what I was
Let her present.
Yeah.
Let her present it, yeah.
But I think the board's fine with getting it.
He gonna tell you the same thing that I'm telling you, that's what I'm telling you out here. I'm not coming up here saying that I
I
have
understand what she's
researched
saying
it.
when she's purchasing.
Right, I understand that, but I've talked with her and she don't understand, she don't understand EMSOL.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, she understands regular spending, but this is a different grant. I've been doing this grant for the last 7 years, so I understand the money, so that's what I'm asking. I'm gonna present it to the board, what we're gonna do, if not, we can send the money back.
We going through purchasing, and she gonna come back up here and present it, that's what we gonna do.
Okay.
We ain't gonna send the money back.
Right now, we got 5 months for this really bites us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't
So
gonna send the money.
every time you come up here, you need to tell us
No, I'm
about,
gonna
sit down and
let you show
slow
I told y'all today.
No, you need to give us an update.
No, I'm saying, that is the update, the drop dead date is March, we can't extend that. So what I'm saying is, we're gonna have to try to get another truck, or either do the used vehicle route.
Brad, I tell you this, get with purchasing, you and purchasing make the best decision you think fit. You and purchasing,
Yeah, the board's fine with it, as long as
that's
it's,
right.
as long as it's legal and they don't have to pay for it. They're fine.
I'm sure you warned them.
Well, what I'm saying, I have to bring it for the book, Andrew really, she's the overseer, I just, yes, so I'm giving her, so.
You can
And I would have
concur
to
on
send the
that.
money
I
back.
can concur on that.
That's not sending the money back.
All right, we like you, Brad, we're just not buying them with our own money. Thank you, Brad.
Let's get back with purchasing, please,
Let her do it.
please.
Okay.
Brad, did you have something?
Yes.
And don't send the money back.
I gotta send the money back.
That's
I'm
what I
not
said, don't
sending the
send
money
it
back.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just not buying you new cars. As long as it's legal. That's why we have purchasing.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I've got
I've got one thing relevant with just updates. I've got a invoice from the contractor on the Group 2 EWP projects for last month's work there, and then I've got our invoice based on theirs for the CNI there. The invoice for the contractor on the Group 2 came to $299,949.58. Our invoice, our attached invoice, is $25,258.45. We finished the.
Did you want to approve that?
Yes.
Robbie, have you seen?
I hadn't seen it. I mean, I've been to the site, but I haven't seen it. How much was the first number, Brent? $299 what?
$299, $949.58. That's about 40% of the project. We've completed they have not grass on it, the Cemetery Road number 10 site and the Churchill Road site. They've completed those. They just need to go back in and grass those. And then we're working on Cemetery 12 site.
Typically, the supervisor and the road department just confirm, then they approve, and it goes to the top. That's usually.
I haven't been back.
I've been by the sites last, I mean, I went through that last week just to go through and look at them. I mean, they working, but like I said, he said they're about 40%. I would doubt that at all, you know, as far as looking at the work, as far as about 40% of the project.
How much is the total project?
I don't have that with me, that's the reason I wrote that down.
This is the EWP project?
Yeah, these are,
It's
Group 2.
somewhere
Group
near
two.
$800,000.
yeah.
So the $299,949 is for a payment of all the projects?
And
Group 2.
All of them, we worked on, you're three sites.
It's Cemetery Road 10 and 12, Churchill Road 1, Old 84 number 3, and Old 84 number 2.
And you
And it
have
was
set all the
almost $1
sites?
million for the project.
So have y'all had a drawdown yet?
No, this is the first.
And this is one that we needed, to expedite to get them all done.
So moved, man.
Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Y'all drive by and check them out when you get a chance to. Again, just make sure to stay on top of it, make sure everything's looking good now. Then the way to get it fixed,
Me to do that?
I'm just suggesting that y'all drive by. I know you weren't getting too
I wrote mine.
Yeah.
And like I said, the pipe was in for the 84s and all the pipes already in out there and everything.
No,
These are-
okay, all right, they're working, they started clearing the road.
I'm talking about our end where we ordered the pipe, which y'all told us ordered
Yes,
off.
they're,
And these all affect the public right of way.
Yeah, all of them, yeah.
And then, we have Group 3 that they have completed, Old Meadow Road site there, and I think they may have just a little bit of mulching left there to do, which they can do that in a couple of hours. And then, they are working on the Cutson Lane site on that project.
Any overruns yet?
No overruns yet.
That was brought up in the meeting, those guys. They wasn't gonna play no overruns.
They're coming. I mean, I'm just.
I talked to them in the meeting, Brent Teddy, I told him, we're gonna play all that.
Other than that, I don't really, I think we did have an invoice in for, McGee Road and Morgan.
I believe they got paid on this docket.
Okay.
What about the plan?
Huh?
What about the plan?
They ain't got the money. It's been approved for them to get paid, but yeah, did
What
y'all
the plan
receive the
is?
plans?
Do y'all have the plan? For Morgan Town Road?
We have the plans tonight, we were waiting.
I got,
But we need to,
I got, the check got approved to get paid.
But they haven't
Hold the
received the
check.
check.
oh, that's right. We,
It was swapped.
okay, we need to make sure that's clear.
I believe that, Hayden's been coordinating with Scott.
He's been told
But
that.
I mean, I understand that, but I just we just want to be clarifying everything. Not that nobody want to get paid, but just like stuff getting kicked down the road. Like State Park, for instance, right now, State Park is, we come here one time and say State Park is going good, going fine. But then when you go check, then when you got the other inspection, then, well, State Park ain't going fine. So, you know what I'm saying? I just think we need to get it straight, and I don't know if he, let me bring it up. We got an invoice. I didn't get,
I just got an email.
just got an email. Do you know?
Contractor for moving yards of dirt for re-excavation material due to change in slope, $10,000 bill to the county. You know anything about that?
No.
So,
Jim's been taking care of it. I asked him about the project, he said
It just came.
80% complete,
It,
and we'll be doing a pay estimate this week
you weren't on there.
on that.
Like it just came.
It's 80% complete.
is 80% complete?
What's
So
the,
they got gravel down?
They're putting gravel.
Or,
what's the
they started
completion
in the
date?
old store. They
I don't know what the completion date is right now. I guess I'll get to
Can you get the date for us?
Yeah, when we do the
But should we do
pay
it in the county?
estimate, he'll send an update with the pay estimate.
You'll get that, you think you'll
That
have
goes to
that?
state aid and then he emails it out.
So we'll have that this week, and then we can,
Yeah, you should have it this week.
great. The sooner the better.
Yeah.
Scott, from now on, could you forward that email to all of us? Where we can all
He
get
hadn't
the
seen it,
same
I'm
thing?
sure.
He hadn't seen it.
It just came through since we've been in this boardroom.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Brent, any change orders has got to come through y'all to present to the board, is that right?
Unless they're 1% or less,
Unless it's 1% or less?
and then the engineer can approve it.
But I'm saying like that, should've went to them instead of here.
What's that?
That,
Does he have one? He probably has one, he just
I don't
don't know.
know. Did you get one? Email of that?
No, he wasn't, Brant was not on there.
Okay.
Was Jim on there?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, and I guess that's all I have unless there's questions on anything else.
Anybody got any questions? Thank you, Brant.
All right, appreciate it.
Morning, board.
More?
I've got a few things here. The first one, the county had approved to buy replacement cameras to put in the jail back in April. And we had to go back and get a second bid because it was over 5,000. We got the second bid probably 2 or 3 meetings prior to this one, and I still don't have a PO in order on it. And it's been approved.
Okay,
Still
we
ain't got
don't
it.
put POs in.
Huh?
The sheriff department put their own POs in for any purchases. Let me see the invoice.
No, I mean, we've got it put in the system, but we just haven't been issued a PO for it. And I've got 2 bids.
Those are different from the
And that's the
cameras.
same thing we just.
These are the
purchased
same
on
ones
the
that
side.
we talked, probably last couple of meetings.
Discussed this before because the departments are getting estimates that the purchasing department should be looking
was that,
for bids.
That's 34,000.
I know in the past, we had an assistant purchasing clerk that was assigned to,
Right, because I'm confused. Every department that met today saying that they got bids. And the purchasing clerk should be looking for bids, not the departments. So, as far as POs, the each department put their own PO in. That's the only way they get put in from the department, so if it was approved, it should have, the sheriff department should put the PO in. So it's not, okay, you don't, it's not in.
We got the second bid also.
Okay, but it's not in, that's what I'm saying, the PO was never put in.
We never, I thought that's what y'all issue us.
No, we
Y'all
don't,
give us
we
a
don't,
PO
put-
number.
no. Your department have to put, whoever you have that's doing your purchasing, has to put the PO in for purchasing to approve it, to give you a PO number.
That's what we're
This-
waiting on. We're waiting on
Okay.
her to give us a PO.
Okay, you have to,
Because
you have to
it's
enter
in,
it
it's
in.
been in the system, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I already spoke with her before, I spoke to her the other day on this, and she said there was no PO out sitting out there.
Okay, let me ask you this,
Well,
why
have
is
we emailed her?
everybody getting their own bids?
That's what, it's
This
confusing to
not-
me.
Because that's what we were told to do.
If
I
you-
mean, I turned that first bid in and they said I had to have a second bid, so I went out and found the same equipment and got the second bid on it.
Well, I talked to the purchasing clerk
Yeah.
on this last week, or the week before, and I told her that she had to search for these bids.
Do you have the other bid that you got for this?
Yes, I mean, they both, she's got both of them over there, I just bought one.
But
We got-
she needs to search, but she needs
But
to search for
at one
bids.
point, the sheriff had an assistant purchasing clerk who could have done that and then send him to purchasing, and purchasing can approve it. At one point, that was what we had done, because there was waiting
That's
to.
where it's all-
That's what she,
And it's been approved.
that's what she did. He's saying him, but John did send that stuff in. And he's saying it hadn't came back, so the person you're referring to, Scott, used to be Charlotte's position.
Yeah.
Now
So
Jonette's in
Jeanette
that
has the position.
Jonette is the one who submitted, he just saying.
She gets the permission, but but the actual purchasing clerk has to bless that position to it.
Right.
You know, because that's technically who signed, so assistant purchasing clerk. Have you emailed purchasing clerk why we haven't gotten that?
I'll have to get back with John and find out.
That would be my first
I know the
question.
requisition's there, the PO.
Why this come forward? Why
Everything
we
we shut down,
figure it out?
everything, if I'm not mistaken, everything got shut down right in the middle of us getting the 7 meters. So the 7 meter went in, it's sitting there because it was a freeze across the board on any purchases. So like we haven't been able to get it. You get what I'm saying? Remember y'all put the freeze in place, no lines and stuff? And that's what I'm saying, it happened in the middle of it.
Yeah, I guess my question would have been, why didn't we ask, like, two purchasing clerks should have been talking and figuring this out.
So can we just throw this to the next meeting, because I need to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, well,
Because
nothing- we
I-
can't approve it, we just tell her to
Right.
make sure it gets done.
But it's happening in every department, people getting their own bids.
Send out a
And to
memo.
me, it's not,
It's not, what you're supposed to be doing. Only
Send out a
person-
memo and give them the direction. They don't follow the direction, they don't get the approval. That's the bottom line.
All right, Mr. Nealon, what do we have next?
Okay, the trash report. District 1, 35 bags, District 2, 57, District 3, 90, District 4, 44, and District 5, 58, for a total of 284.
Going trash in my district, and I know.
Pick it up out of mine and drive it to yours. Yeah.
Also, I've got one other thing, Robbie, you wanna come up dealing with Enterprise?
We're supposed to have them on Enterprise on
He's on.
Zoom.
Sharpie is on going also.
Can Brandon unmute TJ kind of? Should we get?
Who's on there?
Brandon.
Unmute, who I need to unmute?
William, was it McAbee?
Yeah, William
McCabe.
McCabe and TJ Pine.
The bottom two.
Why they mute?
They should be able to unmute.
Letting they mute themselves?
Yeah,
Well, William is unmuted. TJ.
Also, Miss Martin is online as well if you need her.
They're on here.
He next. Well.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, good afternoon, TJ Cunningham with Enterprise Fleet Management. Thank you all for allowing me and my counterpart, Will McCabe, to step in. I am the client and strategy manager. Me and my team oversee the partnership between Adams County and Enterprise Fleet Management, where we're the exclusive company of Enterprise Rent a Car that owns, operates, and cycles over 2 million vehicles a year. And part of our partnership with Adams County is that we extend that same concept to you all and allow you to leverage like the relationships we have with manufacturers, dealerships, service locations, and so on. My counterpart Will, probably almost a year ago, worked to get the partnership set up to where we created a plan to optimize your fleet and save you all $730,000 over the next 10 years, or $72,000 a year, an estimate of what we're looking at. And we had that based off of cycling a certain number of vehicles each year. And somewhere along the way, I think there was a transition internally that kind of maybe caused some confusion. So Will and I wanted to hop on today and just kind of maybe talk through that and make sure that we're all on the same page, so that we can continue to assist you all with updating your fleet into newer, nicer, safer vehicles for the same cost as what you already budgeting or spending towards the purchasing of vehicles. Ms. Martin actually provided us with a bid for purchase of vehicles, and unfortunately that bid didn't align with the service that we're providing you. It's more of like we would probably need like an RP for like a scope of service for us to accomplish the goals that we put in place. So I'm gonna hand it off to Will, and then I'd love to kind of hear any feedback, any questions that you all have for us, and maybe we can clear up some things and kind of go from there. Awesome.
Perfect. Well, thanks, TJ. Morning, board. Thank you guys for having us today, and gals. Like TJ said, yeah, a little over, I think it's been over a year now, Sheriff Patton and I were working together to try to battle some of the problems that everyone has been facing with this vehicle shortage. This is where we were was based off of your strategy up until the time that we had our conversation with, by internally managing the fleet and continuing on that have been in place as far as the way that the fleet was strategized for the replacements every year. To paint that picture for you, the Sheriff's Department had 51 vehicles in fleet. The average age out of that fleet was 6.2 years, which doesn't sound too terribly old, but they're going on average 16,700 miles a year. Well, what that means to you is any of your Sheriff's Department vehicles up until this point in time, if you were to walk out to, if you're going to walk out to a vehicle that was a little over 6 years old that had over 100,000 miles on it. So, to paint the picture as well of the condition of your Sheriff's Department vehicle versus what we would consider your white fleet or your public works, your parks and rec, your street department, tax assessor, your Sheriff's Department's vehicle, the idle time, the wear and tear, and how just the vehicle's application and how the 100,000 mile vehicles be put within about 200,000 miles. Oh, there was the vehicles that needed to be replaced. And the result of that to the county and the Sheriff's Department, particularly surrounding the operating budget, was a severely inflated maintenance cost. And it's something that's really hard to predict or budget for. Unfortunately, our vehicles, when they're getting ready to transmit a ball joint or a motor, they don't send us an email or a text message to let us plan for it. So that doesn't necessarily work well with the budget model and the framework in which you're traditionally set up for. So the question was always the vehicles. The question is surrounding the budget that we spend on new vehicle acquisitions every year, fuel vehicles and maintenance. Last week, often an outcome budget and spend activity dollars. So we put together a sheet that shows the financial capabilities of partnering with a fleet management company and moving towards a fleet management approach. Outsourcing the management of your fleet versus continuing on the strategy of managing it internally. And obviously there's been some change on the board, but to TJ's point, the RFP that was released ultimately is requesting for the purchase of vehicles, and the whole concept of what we showed in the analysis up to this point is, if we know it doesn't make sense for an individual department to keep a vehicle until it's dead, why does it make sense from a financing mechanism to finance the entire portion of the vehicle? So by transitioning from a purchase model to where you can purchase one vehicle with a cash outflow in year one versus going towards a leasing model, that gives you the same ownership benefits as your traditional purchase model, provides you where you can replace 3 vehicles for that one from a cash flow impact. So one of the things that we're able, one of the biggest differences in this is it's not your traditional style lease, where most people think when you lease a vehicle, you have to have so many miles on it, and can't have any damage or penalized for it at the end of it. I'm going to be clear and say this is not this time. Why we call it a lease is because we never actually pay the vehicle off, because we've shown the identical or the optimal point in time to replace it before it starts incurring unnecessary maintenance costs and before the value of that vehicle has gone away. The one key thing that we started to address involved in the strategy that was inherently was that the individual departments, when they come to the board every year, just like they're doing right now, they buy them really well.
Well, let me stop you. Are you on speakerphone?
I think it's on.
No, I'm not.
Okay, because you're breaking up really bad.
Yeah, I'm just using my computer audio. But the last point that I was making is you know, your departments tend to hang on to vehicles until they felt like they've gotten every ounce of life out of them before they get rid of them and they sell. They forfeit that money back to the general fund. If there's $1,000 worth of resale, 9 times out of 10 it comes back to the general fund. That was, you know, the funds where the money came from originally. This program starts to recapture that from resale. It plays directly into your replacement vehicles, offsetting those time and time again, and ultimately reducing your monthly payment. So the financial repercussions and ramifications of this was about $700,000 worth of cost savings over the next 10 years. And we just want to make sure that we provide you an opportunity to ask any questions to us, me and DJ and our team, what we do for you to continue on that path that we're set for a little over a year.
And to just clarify again, as Will said, this is an open-ended lease, so at the end of it, you participate in the equity. So once we get set up as a lease, but once we sell the vehicle, you know, whatever, once it's sold, what the remaining portion, that does come back to Athens County.
Does anybody have any questions?
When we did this last year, y'all understand the lease program at Enterprise that we did? I think we all understand it, but you're saying that the RFP, or I'm sorry, the bids that we put was not sufficient for y'all to bid on?
Yeah, it was set up more so like the purchase of vehicles, like it was the traditional, like what we used to see, you know, for like if you were purchasing vehicles, but it's already been approved by DFA. We have an example of some of the other municipalities have used. It's you know, what the typical RFP would look like if you have to go out and bid on it. You know, you can bid, you know, with us versus like other fleet management companies, but it's more of a scope of service. But this allows us to be positioned in order to, as we work with some of the local dealerships or the manufacturers, it just sets us up to be able to make sure that we can get you all the best deal possible and get these vehicles at the lowest cost possible and set them up on a strategy to where we can cycle out more and bring in that newer, nicer vehicle for you at that given time.
TJ. Yeah, and just to piggyback on top of it, the RFP, like you said, it was for the purchase of a vehicle. That language was specific. And then, now had it said the lease or purchase of a vehicle, then we would have been able to respond. But by default,
All right. Does this board want to include in its proposal lease or purchase so they can participate in this project?
Was legal, yes.
Hang on a second. Go ahead, Chucky.
This is Ms. Martin. When I did the initial advertisement, it did say purchase. but we went back and edited that. I went back and edited that and put lease, purchase / lease of, you know, the truck that we were looking for. The bid that was done was very generic, and we left it that way so that it will be open to, you know, more than just one particular vendor. But it did say lease, purchase / lease. It was never just a purchase. In the beginning it was, but I did edit it, or it was sent to the newspapers and before it was put on the state and county website.
Yeah, that's what I thought we'd done, but Will, have you seen the updated advertisement that she's talking about?
Yeah, maybe we missed the one that had the lease.
Yeah, I remember talking to Chucky, and I said, put it as an option, so ultimately we could present options to the board. Probably that Enterprise would be the only one that bid on it like this anyway. I mean, that's just the reality.
Yeah, and just to paint a little more of a picture as well, we did not get the lease or purchase.
Will, are you working with purchasing, or are you working with the sheriff's office?
I just came back into the conversation really just to make sure that everyone was on the same page, because I know Ms. Bell, who's worked with us originally, we just wanted to make sure everyone was on the same page as what we were trying to accomplish in the way to
Yeah,
the best.
work with Chucky, and you know, and Chucky can send you what we got and see whether y'all can bid or not on it.
Scott, they're working with purchase clerk. The only thing they got was the type bids.
Yeah.
That's it.
And just to piggyback on what Pete, with the due diligence, I did, Lowndes County, that's the Office of State Auditor and the DFA, to put together this scope of services for fleet services. And that's one of the things that I understand the fair competition aspect of this, which is ultimately what we're trying to achieve. They actually reached out to several other fleet management companies, letting them know that they were advertising for this in this way. And Enterprise was the only one to come back. When it comes to the state bid list and who's going to apply, I don't know if anybody responded to this, but considering where everything is this year, the manufacturers have moved forward, ordering banks opening up about 3 months this year. And traditionally, what we've seen, order banks being open for 150 days or more to be able to order, has typically been about 6 days this year. So I say that to say, it was the traditional purchasing mechanisms and what is even put on the state bid list this year, which is coming October 1. Limited, so
the board previously, I think that's been open to Enterprise, so make sure our advertisement is sufficient, and I think that's why we included the language in there, so that Enterprise would be able to bid on it. So get with the purchasing clerk, check out the advertisement, and if it's not, we'll get it re-advertised, and if it is, you know, then you can be able to bid on it.
Scott, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Since the RFP already went out and maybe it was overlooked or whatever, can they still use that, or it has to be re-advertised?
When was the bid due?
29.
They didn't submit a bid?
No.
Nobody
did.
So it's got to be renewed.
Well, let's take a look and see what the RFP, whether that would allow them to do the bid. So email that, Shaki, to Enterprise. If they said they could bid on it, then we might be able to do it without having to do another advertisement.
They did. We know that. Nobody put a bid on it.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, if the language was sufficient for Enterprise to bid on it, we may not have to re-advertise, because we already advertised once. No one bid. Now, I'm going to check. I have Chucky check with state audit, but I believe if no one bids, then that gives us a little more flexibility. If and only if Enterprise could have put in a bid. We can't change the game, so to speak, because we didn't get bids. We have to make sure that it was sufficient on the front end.
So if it was in the language of the bid, then they can make him go ahead with a bid.
If it was sufficient for Enterprise to do a bid, then that's fine. If not, then we got to re-advertise that. Well, now that she said it, I remember talking to her about it, and I told her to give the board flexibility to make these decisions, even though we suspected that Enterprise would be the only game in town. I mean, the dealership's not going to put in a bid to buy a car.
We done with them.
TJ, Are we good on that? Y'all?
Yeah, that very well could be the case, and apologies if we overlooked. I think the copy that I had just the purchase, maybe that was just the original one. So sorry about that, Chucky. If you could just give me that update one, and if that was submitted, and we can go based off of that, I'll definitely take it back to our RP team. We'll try to get something together so we can go ahead and submit something on our behalf.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Okay, I want to say something as well. In having the discussion with TJ and Will, one thing I did find out that I mentioned at a previous board meeting is that no one really has vehicles at this time. Right. No one has any vehicles. And even, reaching out to TJ, you can kind of cooperate with TJ. I asked specifically previous, before we even started the advertisement, did you all have any of the trucks that we needed in your fleet? Or did you have any that, were readily accessible? Even if that, the time came for the lease agreement to be signed, that we would have the vehicles that were needed, we would have those so that we'd be able to move forward with the lease. And that was told to me that there were no vehicles available right now. So is that still true?
So the way that we operate, just so that it's clear, we don't have an in-house fleet. So what we work with all vendors, we can work with any dealership, directly with the manufacturer, whoever, just to make sure that we give you all the best deal. Typically, we work in Mississippi. We work very closely to a lot of the local dealers just because of the relationship piece, and they get state the state bid pricing, state contracted pricing on vehicles. So usually, typically, that's the best price. However, where the industry is right now, we don't expect state pricing to be as competitive as it has been in the past. So we'll be having a discussion with you all about, hey, what are we open to looking at all options, and the local dealers are even aware that this kind of what the condition of the environment is. But with that being said, once we identify what vehicles you need, we will start our search. If it's a vehicle that needs to be replaced immediately, I'm going to get my team to go and start searching out of the stock, and as soon as we have it available, then we deliver it to you. When we factory order, we can factory order and set delivery date. So it doesn't necessarily, just because we order a vehicle today, doesn't mean that the vehicle is gonna, the manufacturers let us know when they're gonna start production and when the expected delivery time will be. And that can change, just to be transparent with you. But typically, we say, hey, we need this particular vehicle to deliver, and we try to set dates based off of that to have the vehicle come in at that given time. So you may sign for it today, you may not need January or February, and then we can deliver it at that time. But to answer your question directly, we don't have an internal fleet. Once we identify what you need, we go and start searching for that vehicle, and then we provide it to you as quickly as you need it, based on what we can locate through our partners.
Yeah, and to answer that, and to provide a little more color anyways, what I'm having my government clients do right now is put contingency language, putting out, it's a,
So you bring me in there.
I think we've achieved all we need to right now, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Thank y'all for calling in. We're gonna move forward.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Y'all. We appreciate it. Let us know if any more questions come up.
All right, thank you.
All right, boy, just so y'all know though, we got 3 people in the academy, so once they come out, we won't have a single spare car, because I believe we sold
3 spare cars. I have sold everything that was taken offline, used, have sold all of those. I got 3 spare cars, and when they come out of the academy, I have none.
But what he's saying is, even if we approve the lease, they still don't have the vehicle. So when they come out of the academy, they still don't have the vehicle.
They're gonna drive my spares.
But we're gonna put them in the spare,
How many vehicles
we
do we
won't have a
have?
single
I need to
spare
look
car.
what bed to see how many vehicles we got on inventory. Because I know we got a lot of vehicles on inventory.
The ones that we agreed to sell, we got all of them sold but 3. And so the accounting.
They're all sold, they're just 3 of them that's not picked up.
3 is not picked up, so I'm sorry, all of them are sold. And they just.
So how many is on inventory is what I'm asking.
Once they pick them up, I take those last 5 off of them.
How many do we have on inventory? How many vehicles, I'll give a quote there.
He said 51 a little while ago.
Okay.
I
51.
don't know what it, that sound right?
I don't know about the inventory, I've got 46 on my maintenance.
Okay. 46. And we got.
But the other ones
7
were on
employees.
inventory, until we take them off, and you can't take them off till after the sale.
He had 67 or 69 on there a year ago.
Yeah, but we got rid of a lot of them.
Okay, well, I'm just saying,
We
just
did
for
with
numbers.
them. I ain't seen no money go through.
For the money.
Yeah.
You might not be seeing it, but the money coming every time, cause I get an email every time Good Deal pays the account.
Yeah, it goes
Okay, I
like
just need to check because I don't see it. I check the receipts every day and I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying
Okay.
I haven't seen it. You know,
It's
so
going into the general.
I just was trying to figure out how many vehicles we have. I just hate for us not to have any vehicles
Make sure.
if we need, you know, but,
I sent 2 checks over 2 weeks ago. that
okay,
paid for the
well,
sale.
maybe I
I'm
might
still
not see
waiting
it
on
too
the
much.
other checks for the last 5 I know.
We can fix that though. What we can do is every time Good Deal sell a car and they send us the email saying it's paid because it's going directly to accounts.
Accounts receivable.
We'll make sure you get that email because I've seen every last one of them that came through. And it, I mean, I ain't saying you ain't seen it.
It might
But
not,
I
I'm
know
not
we ain't
over
cash
it.
no checks.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
I'm not
we ain't
saying
cash.
that.
I got you. It's there,
I'm
I
just
promise you, it's in
saying
your
is-
funds. So,
We
We
have,
need to know, I can give a Corvette
we get it.
because
We got it.
I don't want somebody to come from Academy and not have a vehicle.
Yes.
But if they do have a vehicle, you know, Fleece cannot get us the vehicles. He just said it'll be March before, maybe March. So if Shaki out there looking for vehicles also, no, maybe I'm just not understanding. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not, I'm just saying I'm not understanding.
The bad thing about it, we didn't get any cars this year, so it's gonna be double trouble next year because of the short.
Hold on, before
Well-
we get all that though, let me simplify this though.
Okay.
Let me simplify this. I was just making the boys aware
Aware, okay.
that how urgent the situation was because these 3 people come out. We sold all those vehicles to get them off inventory, so.
They wasn't working, the
Well,
ones you
right.
sold.
Let me tell y'all, we sold them to get them off because some of them weren't working, whether they was working or not, we got rid of them because y'all asked us to
get rid of them.
lower the fleet. So we did that and the money, like I said, you might not be aware of it, it is going directly. I just want the board to know that it is an urgent situation though because once these 3 come out of the academy, we're gonna give them the only 3 spare cars we had, then we won't have a single spare car. Now, as far as Enterprise going saying they don't have anything right now, that may be the case, but what happened last time is that some agencies didn't pick up their vehicles. And so Enterprise, we was able to kind of help a little bit, but we were able to help them locate those vehicles and we were able to get some. Not trying to take over what y'all keep doing, not trying to take over what Enterprise doing, but you know, sometimes you gotta take care of yourself.
Right, so we gotta look, we gotta give it Shaki so she can look for some
Yes.
vehicles.
Right.
So, yeah, she on the phone, she hear me.
Well,
We
Angie,
didn't get any vehicles.
if you don't know the vehicles have been sold, who's pulling these vehicles off the insurance?
Corvette pulls, Corvette
So
does
she-
that.
she already-
Corvette has the inventory.
Well, I called the insurance on the ones I had down there. I
Okay.
took them off of
I
insurance.
just,
But
sometimes that
she
gets
still
overlooked and
Has a record of
Can we still
it.
pay
She
them?
doesn't take it off insurance, she doesn't pull it off inventory.
Inventory.
But she has to submit a copy of the inventory to Burns Insurance once a
Which-
year.
Now,
We leased cars last year, but we never got those cars, is that?
No,
we got them this
we
budget
got 'em.
year, we got them this budget year. We bought them last budget year, but they didn't come in until this year.
Yeah.
Remember, we bought them at the very end, like in October or something, and then we didn't get them till after the first of this year.
Right.
We tried to order them like in July or June last year.
Yeah, see, we did,
We didn't get them, but we had to
we
pay
didn't
for
get
them.
them because we did a budget amendment the prior year. And they didn't come in for that $60-some thousand that they wanted. We had to turn around and amend the budget for this year to take care of that.
So we didn't pay for it until we got the vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of that, because.
That's fine, I was talking, I remember that was a big hoopla. When he said we didn't get in our vehicles,
But
I
to
said,
get on track where y'all trying to go though, I get what she's saying, and I get what you're saying, I get what everybody's saying. But that's why we try to get them in early in the year rather than later, because if you wait till the end of the year to do this, this is what happens, like all of them gone. They can hold for so long, you
You've
know?
been trying, how long? It's just a problem
Yeah,
everywhere.
it ain't no attack on nobody, let me be clear, it's not an attack.
I know.
It's not an attack on anybody,
I understand.
but we have to, we have to do
You're
that.
saying you need some vehicles, I understand that.
I got
They
a
ain't out there.
question. I got a
Go
question.
find
Go ahead.
Keep on looking.
President, the question I have is not about the vehicles. I read something in the email concerning NOLA cameras. Where we at on that? I
Wait,
think I read.
hold on. I thought you were talking about Enterprise.
Oh.
Hold on one second. I need board approval to change the signer name on the Enterprise Fleet account. It's still got Supervisor Hutchins on there.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Now,
Yeah. But I did see that, I don't know, something about the invoice wasn't paid, the installer said he wasn't paid, and it was an invoice saying something about, it should have been included, an email, it should have been included in one price. Well, basically, I'm just trying to figure out where we at on the NOLA account.
I think it's been paid.
But it was another email came out saying, we thought it was paying at a full price, like 15,000. Well, I seen the email that the installer said that Enterprise has got their cameras and he don't have his payment.
Not Enterprise, but
I mean, not Enterprise, NOLA.
I forwarded that email, because I asked Major Smith to follow up on that, when we should be getting close, whenever we install the cameras. He sent that email and forwarded it to Ms. King, because finance is handling it, that's not coming through the sheriff's department, and that's where I left it, was with Ms. King, because that's a finance.
I just want to figure out where
I
it's
know y'all
at.
approved it, so I just forwarded it to her.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where it's at.
I'll check with Janae, she's not here, because I know that I remember her going over there, because she was showing, looking at the POs with me one day, but she's not here today.
yeah, what it is though is that, the cameras is one thing, but the installer is a separate company.
I understand.
And the installer has to be paid in order for them to come on.
That was all
That's
lumped
The
together.
cameras are taken care of.
Oh, well, too.
It just need, the installer need to be paid.
I thought that was lumped into the same price
I
that
think
they
it's
gave
two
us.
different, and I don't know how they did it, because again, we didn't submit the PO, I went to finance, but he's one W-9, I think NOLA may have been the other W-9. It would have been two different
I'll check on
people.
it.
Not
Like I said,
not
she's
one.
not here today.
Project NOLA's one company, and then they subcontract for the installer.
Right.
So it would have been two different, the money going to two different places. But answer the board's question, and Ms. King, there's 3 vehicles that's not being used every day, and that's it. That's the armored truck that we have, the raid van, and then there's an undercover car that the NARC guys use. But other than that, there are no other cars that are just sitting idle, not being used every day.
I understand, I'm just saying,
You got it.
they're out there, is what I'm saying.
We good.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
We got it.
there's nothing to do but to be looking for them, that's all I'm saying.
I just came back from, I just want to put this out there to you all. I just came back from the sheriff's office in Kansas City, Missouri, and I learned a lot while I was up there. One of the things I learned that I'd like to ask the board for permission to partner with some other first responders in the county on is to go out in one of these pipeline grants that has no match, that will probably help these guys get some fire retardant suits that some volunteers been asking for. I met with the head guy from the pipeline, and he said that if we, and when I say we, he said fire, EMA, sheriff office put in for a grant. He's seen them give out over $200,000 to agencies like this, especially since we're in between 2 nuclear plants and we have a couple different pipelines running through our area. So I'm just gonna ask the board for permission to spearhead it and try to help these guys get what they need.
You heard me.
Nuclear meltdown.
Yeah,
Ain't no sense going on.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson. You said. Second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor?
The motion is to do what?
Allow
To
sheriff
apply for a grant.
to apply for a grant.
No match.
No match pipeline grant.
With EMA and.
EMA, fire, and sheriff. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And just to make y'all aware of something else too, Homeland Security does those type of grants too as well. Matter of fact, Clayton County just got $211,000 on a Homeland Security grant to upgrade radios and things of that nature. The only reason I'm saying that is because I know y'all looking for money, and I love to dig and look for money too. And I know we have grant writers in the county, but we really need to look at those homeland and those pipelines, because those people are heavily invested in our area. We can certainly use some of their funds. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Public comments.
It's got to get recorded in the minutes. Paige will then get it over to you. He can't sign anything that's not in the minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Philip Stokes, and I just wanted to bring to the board's attention, because I know the county supervisor is responsible for paying court-appointed attorneys, and I just wanted to bring a complaint concerning one that has been appointed to my son's case. He's a minor, he's 16 years old. And she has not talked with him. She's from out of town, and she has not done an investigation. She's not even sought a bond reduction to the excessive bond that's imposed on him. And I happen to be a witness in this case, and it's heartbreaking for him to be sitting in the county jail on a $200,000 bond. Well, I'm not able to pay or even seek out assistance to reduce that bond or pay for it. The thing about it is the attorney. I thought maybe this attorney would be able to do that. In other words, I find her to be ineffective assistant of counsel. So I'm seeking the board's assistance towards this here. I mean, he could have had some participation in the school system, but now he had 3 weeks left. I know the federal law says that no child should be left behind. I feel like he was left behind. And I think it's contributing to the attorney's inaction.
I mean, the decision of the appointment of counsel rests with the judiciary branch, which is Justice Court. They appoint them initially, and then the circuit judge appoints them after they've been indicted and bound over. So if he feels like he's had ineffective assistance of counsel, Junior, you said he's a minor, but he's charged with an adult crime, correct?
He's charged with a weapon crime.
Right, so he's an adult. He's not a minor if he's charged, and I don't make the law, I'm not saying it's a good law, but I'm telling you the law is when you're charged with an adult crime, you're no longer a minor, you get treated as an adult. And so what he needs to do is, if he thinks that's not getting effective assistance, he's got to point that in, and that judge is the one that controls the defense counsel. That's that control. They're the ones that have a decision-making of appointment. Do you know which? Judge. Is he in justice court right now, or is he in city court?
It moved over to the justice court, but I think that he should have had a hearing in the youth court to determine whether this was sufficient enough to even send it over.
It depends on the crime that he was charged. If he's charged with an immediate crime, it doesn't go to the youth court first. If he gets certified up, then it goes to youth court. But most of the time when they're charged like this, it originates in the adult system. If it's a crime with a gun, it's automatic if that's what type of woman it is. But so it's in justice court.
Who's the judge?
That's what the court is right now.
Just last week they had bound it over, I think, to the.
They bound it over.
He's in the circuit of.
Okay, so if they bound it over, then it's
I don't know whether it's going to the county or the circuit.
Well, then what we'll do is, it's not going to the county, it goes to circuit. It goes from justice bound over to circuit, if that's the way it originated. It could have started in the municipal court either. One of those two then takes it to circuit. What we can do is email both the two circuit judges and make sure their attention to it. But this board you know, we have a limited government. They can only do certain things that they can do. Sheriff has certain things that he can do. Courts have certain things they can do. But this court can't control who those counsel is, or doesn't control who this counsel is. But we can refer this to a circuit judge for their attention on this.
Okay, see, I appreciate that because I'm in hindsight. I don't know who
Absolutely,
what
yeah.
it's gonna be in.
Yeah.
And she's not answering her phone calls, so that prolongs his time incarcerated when he could have a reduction of bond if this attorney only pursued.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is this one of the appointed lawyers?
Yes, sir.
So this man's son have a appointed lawyer. By this paper saying that he cannot get in touch with her, no conversation, no nothing with her. And we are paying him, whether the judge or whoever saying that whatever, we paying. This was a problem before.
We are ordered to pay.
Hold up, Scott. It was a problem before, and it's a problem now. I know we are ordered to pay somebody, but if they not giving no service, and we ordered to pay them, why are we ordered to pay somebody that's not rendering a service to the people in the community?
Totally agree. If they're not providing the service, no court should order it. So what we should do is make this to the attention of the court, who decides whether they're going to order payment.
I guess that's the reason Mr. Stokes stand before us today, for him to give us this where we can do what we got to do to let them know that whoever this attorney is not doing what she's supposed to be or he's supposed to be doing.
That's what I'm going to do, is bring this complaint to the attention of the two judges who issued the orders. If we don't like their orders, we can file an appeal, but we can't order not get paid or whatever. So the way the law works.
I understand.
I don't think it's a good system, but it is the system that we get ordered to do.
Only thing I was saying, since I've been on this board, we done had numerous complaints about people can't get in touch with an appointed lawyer.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I totally right there with you, Randy.
I've never heard of this attorney. I thought we kind of
I think this was the last one that I heard, just a couple months ago. Yeah.
I don't think
She started off with a bang.
I don't think she from here.
I don't think she's
She's
from
not from
here.
here. Where's she from?
Truth be told though, this is not uncommon practice what he's talking about. The judges have brought it up, that's why y'all went and talked about that prosecutor's office. Unfortunately, we see this more often than we need to, so I'm just gonna put that on out there.
You talking about,
Talking about
appointed?
attorneys not coming and check on their clients, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And the jail's supposed to be keeping logs of who comes and then.
We do keep a log of who we know.
I wouldn't say you weren't, I was just saying.
We keep a log of who shows up to see their clients and who don't. And I'm not gonna call anybody names right now, but there's certain attorneys that
Don't even come no way.
don't even show up, so.
Well, how do we fix that?
Put it in the circuit court's hand.
That's their decision.
Yeah.
Put it in their hand, because it needs to be addressed.
That was not technology about it, but that was some of the main problems that we had when we came together to put this system together. Cause Supervisor Gray came, he had some complaints that we were paying public defenders and they wasn't doing their job, baby. So, basically that's what we need to do. Scott said we need to see the circuit court orders us to pay, so maybe we need to, Scott, am I correct? Maybe, so the circuit court judges will be their bosses, in other words.
Kind of. They have the ultimate decision making, but they can't direct the day-to-day
operation. I understand
the system that is set up. That's what on the Sixth Amendment report. It's not a good system because of the judge is supposed to be impartial. The defense is supposed to be independent.
Yeah.
So having the overseeing of that
can't work. But we need to see it.
One of the things you need to do is, sometimes you have to ask the judge to recuse themselves. Sometimes you have to ask things that judges may not like to do. So there doesn't need to be that kind of relationship according to the Sixth Amendment report. But we don't write the laws. At least we don't write laws when it comes to this particular scenario. So what we can do is turn it into the circuit judge and ask them to take a look at it and find out.
Okay. I think I asked for one of these before and I got it. Sheriff, can you give me a log of the ones that are not, just a log of all of them? that's coming over and the ones that are not coming over. I mean, when you give me that log, they're gonna show who's coming and who's
I
not.
give it to you.
Do we have the power to look that over and say, hey, we want this one off the list, if they're not gonna do their job, possibly
You
pay
can say
them?
whatever you want, but you don't have the power to do it.
But I just wanna see
You could
who's
appeal
coming
their
and
order
who's
of
not.
payment, and not seeing the clients.
Maybe the judge
Well,
didn't even know
we
that.
appeal enough orders of payment, I bet you somebody need to start working or get out of the office.
Well, I'm like, Scott, let's let the judge look at this complaint and everything, but the judges may not even know that they're not coming. So they need to know that. So that's why I asked for a log of
And
that.
I'm bringing it to the board's attention, see, I happen to be a witness in this case, and being that it is so limited to the point that he hadn't even had a opportunity to be heard, all the way from the youth court. He was shipped over there to the county jail, to the justice court, with a $200,000 bond. I'm bringing it to the county's attention in hopes that you would get with your judges and everybody and let them know what is going on in hindsight. Even the sheriff knows my boot been on the ground downtown concerning him. And this is the place I end up with. Judge Brown said that he'll hold a hearing, which he should have had in the first place.
We're gonna, get our attorney to, look into it.
Evaluate.
Do our part.
The county says COUNT. Why? That's the county. And that consists of you all. That's the reason why I brought it to you all.
Thank you, sir.
It hurts just as well as you all have children. I have one too.
Thank you.
We gonna look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, okay.
And just so the board knows, when it comes to juveniles in the jail, just so y'all know, eventually the school does contact us and we do let them do their education in jail. Now, in this case, we haven't reached out yet, don't understand why, but they do reach out with juveniles and they send teachers over to keep them, pursuing their education.
And it's really a problem with the
No
juvenile
child
law.
left behind.
It's really a problem with the juvenile law where you got someone that's underage, they shouldn't be in the jail. If they were in our detention center that we pay a lot of money for, we already have education set up for the juveniles, but that's state law, trying to be, say that they're tough on crime or whatever, so you're sending a 15, 16-year-old to the adult. And it's not safe for anybody, not safe for your guards, not safe for the jail, not safe for that person, the inmates around them, and they're not getting the education that they want, so, that they need.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Dog. Okay.
All right, we'll come to the table. Supervisor Gray.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, I ain't gonna be long. I called, the attorney about the medical marijuana deal, and I know July the 1st, that, people going on trying to set up this, set up that, go through the right department to get whatever. My concern is in the county, are we gonna set up something, or they just gonna be all over the county, just trying to open up dispensaries everywhere in the county? We need to have a game plan in place to make sure we as a board know what's going on in Adams County when it comes to these dispensaries. Like the city, they already, I know they got zoning and all that in the city, but they say Trace Town and the old community hospital in the county, as of right now, they could be from Adams Bottom to Kingston to wherever in the county. I just think we need to get on board and get a grip on this thing before it get out of control.
Absolutely, and what we'll do, Ricky, we'll look at what the law limits them in doing, and then whether we need to fill in some of those gaps with the law. There's also an approval process before any of these things come to Adams County. They have to get approval from the board, then they have to get approval from the state. My understanding is that it's super comprehensive, their plans and so forth, but we need to look to see if there's any gaps in what the law allows, and we don't want that to happen in Adams County, so that's just any type of free area. We want it to make sure that it's within the, that it's how it needs to be in the county. So we can look at the comparatives and see if there's any gaps.
I just want to go on record saying I was 100% with this, but if the county is not going to benefit from it, and people just going to be all over the place, and we not going to benefit from it in the county, Then if I would known that, I would option out on it too. Next, I just want to congratulate. Go ahead, Supervisor.
Let me say this on that also, Ricky. When we was in that conference, they did say like, I think there's gonna be, you have to get approved and a certain amount you have to pay. That's my thing is, are they gonna be, because I'm quite sure there are gonna be some people in the county that want this. So are we gonna have to set up a department that would take a permit and do the approval and all that kind of stuff? So that's something that we have to do where we will benefit from it, right, Scott?
We certainly can do that if that's what the board wants to. You don't have to, it certainly can.
And I called Scott about another thing because somebody stopped by my place with the home builders deal, what they got going on. Could you kind of explain that too?
Okay, so the last meeting, this was a surprise to a lot of board attorneys, and I looked like the hero of the day, but actually it was Kevin Wilson that brought it to my attention of that permitting, statute. At the moment, there's only a couple of items that they actually request by law that you have to get, and it's basically proving that you are set up with the Department of Revenue to pay your taxes like you're supposed to, and then the other things, make sure you're set up with you have a contractor's license. So those are your two things that you have to do. It doesn't require any type of surveillance or regulation, although if a person builds without a permit, it is a violation of state law based on the statutes that are already existing. At the moment, what this board did is it enacted an ordinance that would require you to get permitting. Only thing that you'd have to do to get a permit is pay your fee for the permit, is to fill out the form with the correct information that we ask and provide the evidence that the statute requires. So we don't need an entire new department to do that at the moment. We've right now put it with our inventory clerk, and she understands she's supposed to do it, she has the form and so forth. So at the moment, there's no additional requirements. This board has always had the authority to enact ordinances requiring certain structures to be built in certain ways, more intensive permitting, zoning, all that stuff. This board has, not taken those actions as of yet. And most counties haven't. A lot of counties don't have restrictions and things like that. A lot of people like to live in the county because of that. They don't have to go get permission from the city or whatever. Some counties have them. We certainly can if we want to. At the moment, for the permitting, if you have a contractor, he's got a contractor to go give a permit, has to provide this information, and it shouldn't be that, much work for him to do. Here's the information provided. He should already have it.
Thank you, Scott. Next, I just want to congratulate the library director on her retirement, Miss Pam Plummer. She's going to retire from the library. And I saw in the newspaper where the city of Natchez received an award at the municipal conference for public safety. I want to congratulate them on the award that they received for public safety. Now, Rodney, you and Scott and Warren are going to have to help me out because what was the guy name we met with from State Aid?
Chris Dixon.
We met with Chris Dixon and some very interesting conversations that we had, and it just came to my conclusion that, and I may be wrong, but I'm gonna say it anyway, we got a lot of stumbling blocks, people trying to, for some reason, create blocks for Morgantown project, because this guy sit up here and told us that we was gonna lose the $900 and some $1,000 funding, and now it ain't gonna go through state aid no more. It's gonna go through some LHPA, and that ain't, to me, that's not even normal for a state aid project to be going through something else. It's not gonna be state aid no more. So when I said seemed like somebody trying to sabotage Morgantown Road, I'm not talking about no supervisor. I'm talking about from state aid to MDOT to all of them. Because I almost heard the conversation. I guess I'm the only one who was confused about the conversation, but, you know, I was highly upset. That's the reason with this use tax money. What I was saying was 2020, we got use tax money, we spent it. 2021, we got use tax money, we spent it. What I was saying, the use tax money for 2022 and 23, we could use that money for Morgantown Road. I don't even remember what we did or what we used the other use tax money for. But we got to have a funding mechanism plus the earmark that we received from the federal government to get this project kicked off. That ain't no, how you say it, when NAMI came in, NAMI, the same sheet that he gave us at a conference, he used that bottom line figure down here, when I only used the 2 years of money that we got coming in 22 and 23 for Morgantown Road. That's what I use. So I don't know if somebody thought I was saying somebody up on this board trying to sabotage Morgantown. That ain't what I meant. I'm clearing it where a baby can understand it. It's going on with state aid and LAP or whoever they say, LPA or whatever case may be. I never heard all these restrictions. All of a sudden that they putting on a project that they took the money from the project and used it for something else. That's crazy. Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
Okay, since we're speaking on it, Randy Dickerson with LPA, he called 2 minutes before our board meeting, and he said that he wants to meet. He said that they assigned him to spearhead this $2.4 million, but there are some stipulations or whatever. He made an appointment with me for the meet Monday at 10 o'clock. So you can attend that meeting because it's gonna take more, you know, he want the road manager, maybe the attorney if he can, just a few people. It don't have to be a board meeting, just, you know, and that's gonna be Monday at 10 o'clock.
You
But it is
remind
something-
me, I want to be a part of that meeting because I called the executive director, Brad White, and at that time, y'all heard the conversation he left on my cell phone that he, well, matter of fact, I'm going to play it again when you hear it again. But anyway, in no means I was talking about nobody on this board. I was talking about the people that we met with, the young man we met with, and seemed like to me there was a lot of pointing fingers and trying to figure out how not to do Morgantown Road, then coming up with solutions to do Morgantown Road. And I just didn't understand that. But this is the conversation that Mr. White had right here.
Hey Ricky, this is Brad White. It's about 9 o'clock. I checked on the earmark on Morgantown Road you mentioned to me. We have not received that money yet, nor have we received any guidance from federal highway. I'm assuming that when we do get it, it'll be going to our own private agency division in conjunction with Adams County on spending it. But as soon as I receive any information, I'll be sure to reach out to you. But that's all I've got right now. Thank you very much. Bye.
So that is the call you got
this morning
that they received the money, and now we got to figure out what guidelines they have on the money. And one of them gonna be we're gonna have all the money in place to be able to utilize the $2.4 million earmark that we got from the federal government. So
he said the state, they have a state engineer, they're gonna bring, he's coming down with them. So that's gonna be Monday.
well, I think I know I want to be a part of that meeting. Moving right along with this MDEQ release AARP.
Does let me interrupt you there. I think Supervisor Gaines will be there Robbie, and I'm sure Scott, does Mr. Ford need to be present for that meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, he did, we didn't know what his next.
That's what I'm saying, so.
Correct, yeah.
Somebody needs
different language.
Somebody needs
Two engineers.
to reach out to him, please. Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, and last, I don't know if everybody got this from, MDEQ, release ARPA funding regulation for grant opportunities. Did everybody get that? You did? Well, I'm not gonna go over it if everybody got it. Cause the project you were talking about fits in good with them. We give them a grant and then it's matched by them, and that's more money to do more things. My sympathy goes out to the Ransom family, the Wilson family, the Lyles family, the Johnson family, the Mack family, the Washington family, the Holmes family, the Stewart family, the Ware family, the White family, the Lewis family, and the Irving family, which I don't know if everybody know, Ms. Beulah Irving had ties to our county administrator and my classmate, Lita Irving. I think that's your grandmother? Your grandmother and my classmate, Lita Irving, mother. So my sympathy goes out to them, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Hutchins?
All right, I've got just a small amount. First of all, next, where are we on the recreation bond? Heard any things, Scott?
Yes. I've got a resolution that we're asking to do. This would allow us, it's called a notice of intent to sell bonds. It's going to go for publication from July 6th and July 13th. The bidders on the bond will have to submit bids, and then we select the best bids. This is for recreation. The amount that we have is $3,080,000. That's how much that we're asking to sell. So the completion date says that bids will be due by to Angie by 10 a.m. on July 18th. And then on July 18th, the county can accept it. It's the lowest and best bond. You do a sales resolution on the 18th, validation and closing early August.
Okay, great. Glad to hear that.
Oh yeah, well, so
I am ready.
again, Nandy and I told her we needed it done, within 45 days. And she said that could be done. And so that's what we're putting on.
That's good thing.
So I need a motion that takes the remaining item off of my.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson, any discussion?
On the discussion, do we have a breakdown of how we're gonna spend this money in that bond?
We have a proposed breakdown, but we do not have to, that has not been fully adjudicated as the proposed amount. There was a $650 for the softball fields that may or may not actually happen. So before the money's spent, obviously we'll have a plan as to where that money be directed. So that's where the amount came from. Yes. It's not like we're stuck with any certain plan at the moment.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
And we always do broad bond things. You can be real specific, but we always do broad ones in case you need to change things over or whatever, if there's some emergency or things like that.
They do all kind of parts would be included.
And we have done in the past where we needed to acquire the warehouse, for instance, we used a bond that was initially intended for something else. Because it was not, that project was not going to happen. So that's why you have that kind of flexibility. So we're not stuck with any, plan as to that has to go to softball fields. So if that didn't work out.
Okay. All right, the next thing I have is, this was given last meeting. I don't know what happened to it, but the Mount Bill Jubilee is going to be July the 30th, and we've always allocated money for them, the Mount Bill Jubilee, and they asking for the same allocation as prior years of $500. So I'm making a motion.
You got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Scott, you did say it was legal, right?
Yeah, there's a terminology about the.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a yes or no.
All
It's all right, I don't need to talk too much there.
That's it. Supervisor Wilson.
All right, Andy, the use tax money, does it go into the general fund?
It goes to 150, 160.
Road and bridge.
Road and bridge, so we are using that for road and bridges, which is supposed to be.
Using
So we don't,
salaries and whatnot,
okay.
and supplies.
I think now use tax money can,
Yeah,
everything now,
roads and
it's not
bridges.
just roads and bridges. They got a way you can use for anything now.
Not true, they lied to us.
Yeah, so that's what they told us at the conference, that use tax money.
Is that what they
use-
said?
Yes.
But that's where I told them to go and bridges, and that's where it's being called to.
But check on that, because it can be used for anything. But let me say this too. Bridget, I think you mentioned that use tax money from the last prior years. Where did it go? I think y'all used that use tax money to do Martin Luther King with to pay the
We did.
engineers for Martin Luther King doing that project. That's where that use tax money went to.
We've done emergency projects and all, that's where some of that money went.
And then we supplemented
Right.
some of your budget with it, and that's been accounted for in that sheet that.
Where is the money gonna come from to pave roads? Because I don't know that we paved a single road. Okay.
That's the $7.5 million.
But the use tax money is supposed to help maintain some of the other stuff.
And mentioning that, I mean, last meeting we were gonna try, once we figured out where Morgantown roads and plans and things like that, we were gonna discuss blacktopping. I mean, I guess we'll put that to the next meeting, to see how much, once we figure out, once we get the plans and get them to IMS and see where we at, where the match is coming, and then we'll figure out how much we're gonna spend on blacktop. Is that where we're still at? Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. I really didn't have it. The only other thing, I asked you about Meadowbrook Road, the road out there. The guy complained about no culvert in there, and you told me.
Oh, Meadow Ridge?
The Meadow Ridge.
That's correct. It's always been a drive out by Church Road.
I don't know what he was really complaining about. He's an older gentleman, and I just couldn't.
He's having some issues, personal issues with neighbors and people with that road. I had someone else call me about that road, saying that he owns half up to the center of that road. He didn't want anybody traveling on his side of that road in front of his house and things like that.
I tried to talk him off that.
It is some issues going on with that, so I think it's just complaint out, and I'm not.
He doesn't realize that he gave up 20 feet.
So, but anyhow, it's always been a dry ramp. They carry those mobile homes in and out. If you put culvert, you'd have to put an 8-foot culvert in. You wouldn't be able to keep it unstopped and things. It's always been this way. So it's, no one else has called other than him about that, but I did have a resident call about him saying he owned the road.
Okay. Well, I just want, before there's gunfire out there, I want to make sure we got that figured out. That's all I had.
Supervisor Gaines.
I just, one question I had was the redistricting. When was they supposed to be here? It wasn't this meeting, it's the next meeting in the month, Scott?
We'd have to ask Corvette when he got set. We'll ask her.
Yeah, well, I need to.
Yeah, 'cause they playing around.
Yeah, we need to move forward. We don't need to be waiting and pushing off at the last minute. I really don't know what go on, a lot of that. You know, a lot of times, people say you get ugly, but you know, people receive their payments and want their money, and then they slack on doing their job. And regardless of and I'm not gonna blame it on by no means, I'm gonna blame it on the company, because even in our meetings today, and I see it's still a lack of communication. And while he out, I would say this, again, which I always repeat this. If everybody would do their job and know their job and communicate, everybody's job will go a lot easier. If everybody will allow them to do their job, and I think some people, and everybody, and it's not just for the people in here, it's not just because the difference was with the sheriff department, but I heard you say everybody. It need to be a memo sent out. And what people do not understand is this,
that if we vote wrong and you do wrong, you're liable for that. We don't want to be liable for that, so if we would just do a better job on doing our job and communicating to the necessary people, I think it can make it a lot better for us. Okay, Scott.
She's calling them right now, find out, confirm that date.
Okay, well, that concludes my report.
And as far as time, we are not in a time crunch. We want to get this done. We want to get here, have something within this month, but then that still gives us more than enough time to do what we need to do in a timely fashion. So we need to stay on top of it like we're supposed to, but at the same time, we don't need to,
Okay.
Go ahead. You're up.
Y'all got all my things before.
All right, you done? Brandy, do you have anything?
Yes, I just have one item. We have to approve today that the tax assessor submitted the real and personal rolls on or before the first meeting in July. And we have a certification of clerk office. Need to get approval for that, please.
You get a motion for that?
Yep.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
That's all I have to give you.
Kevin, motion. Thank you. Page, Ms. King?
Yes, we have two things. First of all, the motor grader came in and we had got approval from the bank prior, but it's been so many months ago
Been a long time.
because we was
Just
waiting
like
for the
the truck.
equipment to come in. So I've sent the email out, haven't gotten an answer, so we might have to do another bid thing for two.
You just need 2 written bids for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Because of the interest rates.
Well, it took so long. When they put it on finance, it's been
In October, when the budget got approved, it got approved for a motor grader, 2 pickups, like I said, the pickups hadn't get a VIN number yet, they not started building. The motor grader did come in last week, I got approved for 2 tractors. They still hadn't made it here yet, the 2 bush hogs just made it, but the tractors hadn't made it, so, I'm hoping one of the tractors will be here this month, is what the vendor's telling me. So, like I said, just availability on everything you ordered, it's pretty crazy, and now it's come in. Once you checked on financing way back, we thought it would be here, we just received it.
That's gonna change.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's one thing I didn't bring up in mind, if you don't mind. You know, we're paying $5,000 a day in interest as a county. And that's why I keep saying I want to use that money to pay down some of our debt. Some of that's worse of it anyway. Because if you watch the stock market right now, everything's taking a big hit. Everything's dropping. And the only thing's not dropping, interest rate. And it's gonna hurt a lot of counties and municipalities. But I'm sorry I took your spotlight there. No.
Is it, oh, no, it's okay.
Is that it?
Well, I would like to be in the executive section. Personnel issue.
Okay.
It's not gonna be long.
All right, is that all you have? Yeah. Okay. I have a request for travel for Barrett Clay Strickland, $330.24. He is a E911 employee. This is for training. Take a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. I have a new hire, Gina Marie Pettis, deputy clerk. Don't know what department. Circuit. Hourly rate $12.50, annual rate $26,000. This has been signed by Crystal. Have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. New hire for janitorial, Etta James. Hourly rate $12, annual rate $12,480. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, and second.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. This is a travel voucher for Corvette, $60.14. This is reimbursement. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. I have a request for Ms. Shirley Frazier for registration fee for, the Congressional Black Caucus Institute's 2022 Mississippi Policy Conference. Can I get a motion? Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Wilson. Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Office of Circuit Judge. Please find enclosed order appointing Brittany Denard as Deputy Court Administrator for the 6th Judicial Circuit Court District. Ms. Denard will replace Martha Griffin, who is retiring effective June 30th. Please forward this correspondence. Scott, you will play as Administrator. Hereby set at $38,420 per year. Are we responsible for 55% of that? Is that?
Yeah, so that by statute set by the circuit judge.
So we need a motion.
Fine that it's been ordered, and then we'll pay it. My understanding is it's not any additional than what it's already been.
It's the same, and
It actually may be less, depending on what AOC, how many years she's been working and whatnot. AOC sets those limits and then the court.
Motion spread across the night. Can I get a motion to spread this across the night?
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Wilson, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. In this folder is a Natchez be a part of Parks and Recreation kickback to school. That is what was on the agenda from the city of Natchez.
Yeah.
They did not show up, but I don't know. This is just saying grades 9 through 12. Be a comedy and talent show, July 22nd from noon to 4 o'clock at the Natchez City Auditorium. Just so everybody knows. I believe that's all I've got. Need a motion for closed determination.
Mr. President, before we do that, let me just say this, and I know we're not going by this budget calendar, but for July they have on here, the first meeting in July, deadline for returning departmental requests, and by the second meeting, review departmental requests, and by August, first meeting, formulate a budget. And from August to September, advertise for public hearing for budget and tax levy whole hearing. Are we gonna kind of like go by that guideline or whatever the case may be? Because I think we need to have a public hearing. I think we need to get the public involved in what's going on in county government.
We have to have that public hearing.
Yeah, you got to have a public meeting.
This is what I'm saying. We got people that submitted requests to this board. Are we gonna review departmental requests? Are we gonna do that?
So, I know the law provides, even the administrator's supposed to have a draft budget in July, but it's not possible for her to construct a budget until we got what we got today, the tax roll, nor can you finalize the budget until the tax roll's been finalized.
This is the first meeting, right?
This is the first meeting.
Okay, that's what it say, the first meeting you're supposed to have all that.
Hey, we've got the tax roll, you've got the request, or should have the request from all the department heads. She has to start building a budget now. Now that she has somewhat of a starting spot now that she has the value of a mill. Okay, it's a pretty good educated guess from it, so.
I'm just saying, we got ARP money, we haven't had a public hearing, and people won't know when we gonna start spending, or we just gonna give it all back, or whatever we gonna do with it. So, I just think we just need to have one meeting and just kill all that when we have our budget people submit for us to do this with some of our money and do that, we can just go and have one meeting and just kill all that. I'm just saying, you know, I don't want nobody to come in here and say, well, we submitted something to y'all for the budget and y'all had a budget hearing and what happened? Like, well, we didn't have a budget hearing.
We always have budget hearings, I mean, you got to.
So,
We just not.
Got to.
yeah, that's, we always have budget hearing.
Wait, hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm not talking about when we get ready to adopt a budget, have a hearing, somebody say, well, this is how it's gonna be and give us a sheet of paper. I'm used to having a hearing while all of us in the hearing and if we don't agree to something, we can say, well, I don't agree to that or whatever the case may be. After she done did everything with the budget and got it.
We do that.
We did that last year? When was I?
Only two that request for funding is the vote on the shelter part.
I know, I'm talking about outside people. I ain't talking about our department head.
You mean the public?
Yeah, like these people came in and say they wanted us to think about doing this with the money and doing this with some of the money. Add this to our budget, add that to our budget.
It's usually the first meeting we do for the budget, we have the appropriations list of this, that, and the other.
So we gonna do that?
We did
We did it last year.
Certainly would.
Well, just like you say, we didn't have the ARP money last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So are we gonna have a public hearing for the ARP money then?
Would imagine that that'd be part of her budget, would be building what to do with that money. That would be mine.
Well, don't you think that people that, like Bravo Utilities, the NAACP, and whoever else, made a request, they want to be here too. So we don't need to be having no meeting, and the people that ask for money is not available to be at the meeting and say, well, don't forget about us or whatever the case may be. I just don't want to leave nobody out there.
I think they should just send a request, like everybody else does. They send requests.
Well,
And
when you
then-
have a budget meeting hearing, that's open to the public.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. If the public want to be here,
They can be here.
they should be able to be here. Even though they send something, but they still had an opportunity to be here and listen to what we got to say. That's all I'm saying.
Need a motion for close termination.
So,
Motion by Supervisor Daniels, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.